In a world eating mid-tasteless food, his cooking hits different. It is a total cheat code, completely redefining what flavor even means. To level up his craft, he grinds hard, trading with elves for rare herbs, bartering with dwarves for epic spices, and even pulling up on dragons for legendary ingredients. Being a chef here is a literal battle royale. This is where the lore begins. 15 years ago, he was just Ellison, a regular culinary student chasing his dreams, until a rogue truck ended his run before it even started. But death was not the end. Waking up, he realized he'd been isekai'd straight into a literal war zone. Totally lost, a random stranger dragged him into a crowd of refugees. That's when the lore dropped. This was Greek, a city in the Ruben Empire, currently getting absolutely wrecked by giant dragons. Instead of losing his mind, he adapted fast, coping that this new life couldn't possibly be worse than his past one. At least he wouldn't get drafted after graduation. Or so he thought. That fantasy shattered instantly. A knight pulled up, dropping the Emperor's decree. Mercenaries ghosted, manpower was cooked, and draft season was officially on. Anyone 17 to 45, noble or not, got dragged into the Night Corps. Just like that, his life was locked in. Training was so brutal, he low-key wished he'd just died back then instead of this. Meanwhile, a knight noticed something strange. After basic training, his high potential got him transferred to the Mage Corps, yet harsh reality hit him in the quietest of moments. Staring at boiled potatoes for lunch, he felt a genuine despair. But what shocked him more was that people actually liked this food. That realization changed everything. If this world did not know real flavor, opening a restaurant here would absolutely dominate. From then on, he trained with new purpose. He would survive, endure everything, and build his dream right here. He just had to survive 2 years until the war ended. Plot twist, it dragged on way longer. By the time he secured his freedom, 15 whole years had passed since his isekai moment. Just thinking about that endless grind feels suffocating. Now, the trauma hits different. Tears well up, not from sadness, but because the sheer weight of survival finally caught up to him. A passing girl stops and introduces herself as Rain. He says he's the owner. When she asks if he's running the place solo, he casually mentions he has family, though she's sleeping until evening. Rain is intrigued and hooks him up with a major plug, her husband's butcher shop near the town entrance. He's down to visit, but she warns him her man isn't the easiest to deal with. That warning absolutely doesn't faze him. Honestly, after everything he's survived, dealing with a grumpy husband is a total walk in the park. But face to face with the butcher, Ellison's confidence dips. The guy's resting boss face is pure nightmare fuel. When Ellison asks for restaurant stock, he gets hit with major attitude. The butcher assumes he's just another greedy reseller trying to flip a profit. Before things get toxic, Rain spawns in, clanging a frying pan into her husband, forcing him to grab that Baloran meat. He starts yapping, blaming Ellison, but she stands on business, sending him packing before apologizing for him. She explains his vibe. A past betrayal by some owner left him with major trust issues. Ellison counters with his own lore. 15 years in the military, instantly shifting the room's energy. Finally, the butcher returns, tossing over a cheap cut instead of the premium stuff, challenging Ellison to cook up a storm. If his food actually slays, maybe he will unlock the good stuff. The bar is set high. Ellison feels the pressure until the mocking butcher asks if he is scared. A swift strike from his frying pan silences the man. Brushing it off, a confident Ellison invites them both to dinner. Rain hesitates, worried about the meat's quality, but he reassures her it is plenty. After he departs, her worry remains. She knows he received Yuba belly fat, a cheap cut that most people would completely ignore. But to Ellison, it's different. In this world, livestock has unfamiliar names, but he holds unmistakable high-quality pork belly. It was given to him because pork is the cheapest meat here, and the belly is considered the lowest cut. What they see as worthless, he sees as opportunity. Without hesitation, he decides to make grilled pork belly. Simple, OP, and cracked. As he preps, a fire spell sparks under his gear. Meanwhile, the couple bickers. Rain calls out her husband's toxic vibes, but he claims it's a test. Finally, she gets it. He's not gatekeeping Ellison, he's vibe-checking him. Suddenly, the memory flashes back. Soldiers were getting absolutely wrecked by monsters, forced to fall back. One injured guy was seconds from cooked until Ellison pulled up with a clutch blade spell, slicing the beast effortlessly. Fast forward to now, that same OP magic is back, but it hits different. In a quiet kitchen, he is using it to prep meat so seasoning penetrates perfectly. Talk about letting him cook. Soon, the couple arrives at the restaurant. Rain is instantly digging the spotless vibe, but her hubby's skeptical until her frying pan silently threatens him. Meanwhile, in the kitchen, Ellison is totally locked in, prepping the grill, flipping the meat, and locking in juices for that perfect crisp. A pinch of salt elevates everything, sliced into small pieces with a fresh salad. He wants to flex his culinary skills, but keeps it simple for his audience. Once the dish is served, the reaction is instant. Rain takes a bite, and wow, it hits different. It is pork, but totally next level, perfectly balanced with the salad. Meanwhile, Ellison secures the bag as the butcher agrees to supply him. Ellison spots the butcher's empty plate. Though the grumpy man claims he is out of pork, he is low-key obsessed. Asked if he liked it, he grumbles he wants more. Rain demands a real answer, and he finally complies. He admits it. This pork absolutely slaps, no cap. Instantly, he locks in to supply Ellison with the Empire's absolute finest meat. Deal secured, but the greedy butcher immediately begs for seconds, which Ellison happily serves. As his first major business win finally sinks in, his fake family member wakes up, lured by the godly aroma, and everything starts to take off for them both. In just a week, his shop is low-key popping off. Orders are flooding in nonstop, especially for that pork belly. Every single customer leaves with 0 crumbs left, totally satisfied. By closing time, he's thinking of taking a much-needed break, but checking inventory reveals a major L. His spices are depleted, and pepper is completely out. In this ancient world with its trash logistics, spices are straight-up gold. Still, this quality doesn't hit like modern stuff. Then a brain blast. He pulls a coin, opting for a low-key goofy but working hack, summoning modern ingredients. He first unlocked this glitch while desperately trying to find a way back home. Sure, the carry limit is heavily nerfed by size and weight, but honestly, it is still an absolute W. Guilt-tripped, he sends gold coins back. Stealing across worlds is still a major L. Restocking his spices, he broods over this magic's biggest nerf. 0 fresh food. No meat, no eggs, everything perishable spawns completely rotted. Plus, casting the spell totally drains his mana bar. Exhausted, he decides he's earned a cold one. He opens the fridge to grab his summoned beer, only to find absolutely nothing left inside. That dead giveaway instantly outs the culprit. He confronts the dragon girl, roasting her for chugging his entire beer stash and leaving a massive mess. She claps back without shame, calling it payback since he left 0 good food. She proudly flexes that Lauren, the great black dragon, doesn't do chores. He bonks her head, ordering her to prep the veggies. She whines, "But I'm literally a dragon." Watching her, he can't help but remember how she lost her own mother in the Dragon War, swept into that brutal chaos all alone. So he babysits her human form. Sure, she's a century old, but in dragon years, total toddler energy, reckless and wild. To bribe her, he promises Salisbury steak after the mission, instantly curing her bad attitude. Soon, Creston pulls up, asking for a drink with his meal. Our chef checks the fridge Lauren literally raided, then casually pulls out another cold bottle. To avoid raising sus vibes, he decants the drink before serving it. Creston eyes it curiously, thinking it's just water, but Ellison explains it's actually soju, the ultimate food pairing. Instantly, the butcher is living for it. He openly praises him, totally shocked that a single drink elevates the meat's flavor so hard. Soon enough, he's downing glass after glass. But as the drinking continues, Ellison senses a major shift. Creston's whole vibe is definitely not normal today. He keeps downing shots like crazy until Ellison finally steps in, warning him that this drink hits different. But Creston demands more, forcing Ellison to ask what's really going on. Creston finally spills the tea. He suspects Rain is cheating. Every month, she glams up and sneaks out. He followed her and caught her meeting his old mercenary bro, someone he once trusted. He slams the table, furious that this same guy completely ghosts him, but secretly links up with his wife. To make it worse, Rain is meeting him today. Ellison tries to calm him, saying hitting the bottle won't solve anything, but erect Creston asks what else he can do. He's literally crying over Rain because he still loves her that much. Ellison steps up to help, refusing to believe Rain would betray her husband. With a plan already cooking, he heads to Lauren. He invites her along, offering a sweet escape from peeling veggies. She instantly agrees, literally doing anything to dodge that chore. Cut to them crouching on a rooftop, low-key spying on Rain. Ellison spots her in a restaurant, sitting opposite a guy who's definitely that old mercenary Creston mentioned. Time to cook. He immediately tasks Lauren with eavesdropping to feed him all the tea. No freebies, obviously. She secures a steak dinner and 0 onion peeling duties. He folds, and she tunes in. Rain warns the guy that Creston is getting sus since his old bud is acting low-key. He panics, fearing Creston's wrath over their past shady collab. That is enough. Ellison has the tea. He leaps off the roof to crash their chat. While Rain scrambles to explain, he gate crashes, demanding to join. He drops the ultimate truth bomb. Creston totally misread their vibe. Soon, Rain and the old merc are standing before a completely wasted Creston. He glares, mocking their couple goals. They try to clear the air, but Creston snaps, lunging at his old ally before they can even speak a word. But his punch misses. Ellison instantly deploys a shield, forcing them to talk it out. The truth finally drops. This guy actually funded Creston's butcher shop from the start. Creston is absolutely shook. Clutching a basket of meat and veggies, Ellison walks past, telling them to resolve their drama while he preps dinner. Since Creston is totally wasted, Ellison decides on a warm, cozy soup to soothe his stomach. Talk about an unexpected plot twist. Rain brought prime Balaran meat, so he whips up some shabu-shabu. He preps the soy dipping sauce, strains the boiling broth, and pours it in. Outside, Rain finally spills the tea. Turns out the guy gave her his entire life savings to start the butcher shop with Creston. Now that they're secure, she's been paying him back, low-key, every single month. Creston thought he secured the bag from some random lord, but Rain admits that story was cap. He knew Creston's pride wouldn't let him accept cash from another man at all. Rain apologizes too, feeling incredibly bad for missing the shop's grand opening and letting this drama drag on. Creston is totally shook, asking why anyone would dump their entire retirement savings on him. It's giving major imposter syndrome. Before the vibe gets too heavy, Ellison slides in with the hot pot, saving the day. Eat out before the veggies get soggy. Creston points out the paper-thin meat, and Ellison flexes his cooking hacks, explaining they cook instantly in the boiling broth. Wholesome vibes only. Both guys fill their bowls. One sip in, and they're totally vibing. Mint's mind is blown by Ellison's cooking. This meal hits different, sending him straight back to their war era. Remember when Creston took a sword for Mint? Food was non-existent, and they survived on trash rations. But then, Mint hunted a Balaran. Its stinky meat made a soup that low-key tasted like absolute heaven back then. Mint then casually admits he never really had a grand master plan for his retirement era anyway. Helping his bro was the ultimate priority. Hearing that, both guys finally apologized. But right after those emotional feels, Lauren points at Ellison, calling him out for breaking his steak promise. He tries to dodge. He claims the night is still young, but she saltily snaps that it's already late. Ignoring her, he asks Mint how the food was. Mint calls it a total banger, then asks if his mercenary squad can feast here before their next escort mission. Ellison goes dead silent. Feeding an entire squad? That's a whole different beast. Ultimately, he decides he needs chicken for the feast. Too bad catching chickens in this weird fantasy world is a major nightmare. Let the chaotic grind begin now. Honestly, the struggle gets so ridiculous, he literally considers burning down the entire forest just to catch one. Now he's majorly regretting confidently flexing that he'd personally prepare chicken for the big mercenary dinner. Flashback, he demanded Creston supply some chickens, but Creston was like, bro, they're basically mythical creatures here. After Ellison kept nagging, Creston mentioned rumors of wild sightings in Lemon Forest. Cut to now, Ellison is totally drained, super annoyed, and literally begging Lauren for some backup. She agrees, but only if he does the dishes. Deal. Next second, she absolutely chars the chicken. He jokes she has that main character energy, which she is somehow weirdly proud of. After cooking, Lauren is chilling with a beer like she carried the whole team. Ellison teases that she just stared at the food, but she insists laser beaming it with her own eyes is seriously hard work. Still, he warns her not to chug it all because they need it for the guests' dinner pairing tonight. By nightfall, the tavern is packed with mercenaries. It's loud, crowded, and chaotic. But some are skeptical. One guy doubts the food, calling cap on Mint's taste. Mint's Jr. instantly rides for him, only to get clowned. Bro would eat grass if Mint hyped it up, they tease. While the table is still bickering, Ellison pulls up, serving the hot food himself. The hype is real, and the wait is finally over. Mint apologizes for the noise, but Ellison is like, nah, celebrations are meant to be loud. Miltine greets him politely as he serves the food, but when he reveals the main dish is chicken, everyone freezes. Milchin is totally shook. How did they catch something even pro-hunters struggle with? One bite, though, and the doubt completely vanishes. This food hits different. It is straight up fire. Even Mint's skeptical friend has to admit Ellison's cooking is the real deal, no cap. Ellison heads back to the kitchen to carry the team. The place is absolutely packed, so he asks Lauren to help out, but she takes it personally, like he insulted her entire bloodline. She is like, a dragon serving mere NPCs? Especially after I literally carried the raid for that legendary beast. Ellison immediately realizes her OP dragon hearing caught his earlier convo. Arguing is useless, so he plays the emotional card, bringing up their shared post-war dream restaurant. He sighs, saying he'll just solo the entire shift if she's really going to leave him hanging like that. That line hit different, and she finally folded. Next thing, she is actually serving, running around till the rush ends, and she straight up collapses. Pure exhaustion. Then, Ellison pulls out the secret stash of fried chicken and cold beers. They dig in, basking in that sweet post-chaos relief. That is when he notices she did not just pull her weight serving, she low-key cleaned the entire place too. Talk about an absolute MVP. He says she is all grown up now. Exhausted, she leans on his shoulder, murmuring she only did it because this is their restaurant. He teases, asking if her dishwashing duty is canceled. Lauren instantly shuts that down, saying that is totally separate. But their cozy vibe gets wrecked. Black Dragon Elder Metadonna pulls up, straight up hating on how trash these human cities are. Ellison drops his name, and the Elder immediately gives him major side-eye, acting like a human speaking is pure disrespect. Ellison asks why he's here. Avoiding the question, the Elder disses his cramped apartment and the dragon he's harboring. Lauren low-key hides behind Ellison, totally spooked. Ellison stands his ground, firmly snapping that nobody minded him raising her before. The Elder casually agrees. Yeah, he's here for her. Lauren instantly panics, clinging to Ellison, and calls out the Elder for straight up ghosting her back then. She's definitely staying put now. He claps back, insisting he didn't ghost her, he was just lagging. But Ellison interrupts, bringing up the receipts. Lauren was promised to him, and dragons don't cap. The Elder admits that the deal is real, but older laws override it. Seeing them totally lost, he drops the lore. For black dragons, 800 is when adulthood officially hits. No lair by then, you're just a ward, sent straight to the sacred land. Lauren's mom's lair got wrecked in the last war, leaving her with nothing. Next year, turning 800, she's forced to deport to the sacred land. Refuse? The Elder says that's instant war. Ellison hears all this drama and stays totally unfazed. He's like, easy fix. No cap, he just straight up offers to build Lauren a new dragon lair. That reply leaves both dragons shook. Metadonna absolutely loses it, furious that a mere human is talking so casually about serious business. To him, Ellison is totally downplaying the Black Dragon's massive flex, even after devouring Lord Hart. Sensing the vibe check is failing, Lauren steps in to de-escalate. She tells Ellison she's totally good, stopping him from starting a whole war. Ellison plays it cool. No cap, he is not plotting some wild rebellion. He literally just wants to build her a legit lair. Lauren and Metadonna are totally shook, but he keeps cooking. They have got a whole year and mad treasure to start. Metadonna is still super skeptical, but in the end, he gives Ellison exactly 1 year, then just dips from the restaurant. So Ellison starts this crazy quest to build a dragon's lair. Big issue, it takes mad cash and time. But he gets lucky when rumors spread that his restaurant serves some rare new meat. The place gets absolutely packed, leaving him zero room to breathe, let alone build. Even with his crew helping, the grind is too real. Realizing this is a dead end, he decides to cut the drama at the root. Next day, he drags Creston to the Pale New Forest. Creston is totally lost, asking what Ellison is cooking up. Ellison lays it out. Creston is about to be the Empire's sole plug for Pale New meat, making his shop blow up. Creston doubts it, saying even top-tier hunters can't bag those beasts. Ellison is like, chill, the heavy lifting is already done. He reminds Creston that a whole mercenary squad already approved the product, promising direct supply. But there are no freebies here. They are splitting the bag evenly. Creston is totally salty about the terms, but reluctantly agrees to the deal. Then Ellison drops a massive barrier over the forest, a spell so OP it locks the Pale New in place, stopping their migration. Creston is shook by the scale and finally asks the real question. Who actually is this guy? Ellison just hits him with the usual. Just a humble restaurant owner. The plan works flawlessly. Soon, the diner is totally empty. Ellison feels relieved, but also low-key sad nobody is left. Lauren clocks his contradiction instantly, asking if he is low-key happy. Ellison admits at least they can finally grind on the dragon's lair. Lauren asks if they are moving in together after. He shuts it down fast, saying he is just the builder, not her roommate. That triggers a meltdown. Lauren fumes. If that is it, the lair is canceled. After some major back and forth, Ellison finally pacifies her by promising a nearby build. They pick a spot in the hills below his restaurant, which he already owns. Only catch? It needs magical reinforcement, or it is straight up collapsing. Lauren, instantly hyped, starts digging immediately. Meanwhile, Ellison dips, claiming he cannot leave his restaurant unattended for too long. Lauren is salty AF, left to keep grinding while he heads back solo. Back at the shop, Ellison finally catches a break, but the vibe is ruined when some rich kid walks in, asking if this spot served that legendary Pale New meat. Done with the hype, Ellison says they're out and tells him to hit up the local butcher. But the guy is starving and doesn't care at all. So Ellison whips up a premium burger using top-tier Yuba meat. He stacks it perfectly, dripped in special demi-glace and topped with a fresh farm egg. The noble is shook by how fire the burger looks. But right before his first bite, some guy bursts in, totally panicking. He warns him about food poisoning, screaming at him to leave. Ellison claps back instantly, defending his food. No cap, it is totally safe. That is when the intruder drops a massive truth bomb. This young customer is actually the Baron, heir to the whole Greek barony. Talk about a major plot twist. That reveal means zero to Ellison, who keeps yapping anyway. Finally, the noble drops a gold coin, apologizes for the mess, and dips without even touching his burger. Later, Lauren returns caked in mud, complaining she's grinding herself to death. She demands Ellison take over the digging because she can't solo this anymore. But Ellison is already dripped out, calmly saying he's got other major moves to make. Turns out, somewhere is the barony. He pulls up to the young baron with a paper bag, offering his forgotten, reheated burger. Shook by the gesture, the baron actually takes it. But right as he bites, a knock ruins the vibe. Annoyed, Ellison mutters, wishing the guy could just eat in peace. But that knock instantly breaks the baron. Hands shaking, sweating bullets, he desperately asks Ellison what he should do. Ellison, low-key amused, tells him to lock in, speak up, and act like everything is totally fine. He really needs to claim his rightful heir energy. But the Baron just shakes his head, pure dread written all over his face, completely convinced that absolutely nobody listens to him anyway. He knows the guy outside will just barge in anyway. The knocking gets aggressive, warning they'll break the door down next. Seeing the Baron completely freeze up, Lauren rolls her eyes at his total lack of riz and steps in. Mimicking his voice flawlessly, she shouts with major boss energy, declaring everything is totally fine and ordering them to get lost immediately. The Baron just stares at her, utterly and completely shook. And just like that, the banging stops. The guy outside apologizes, backs off, and says to call if needed. Ellison's like, "Told you so." Out of nowhere, the young Baron drops to his knees, declaring Ellison his master on the spot, leaving him totally shook. Then, the kid starts spilling his backstory. His mom died at birth, and his dad remarried fast. His stepmom was strict, constantly gatekeeping his behavior to act like a proper heir. Yet, despite her cold vibes, he genuinely loved her. Honestly, Those days were the peak of his life. But everything went downhill fast when his dad fell terminally ill. The Baron wanted to be a legendary lord like his dad, but living in her shadow, he's totally powerless. The servants still baby him, ignoring his authority and keeping him on a tight leash. With 0 allies, he feels totally isolated, convinced inheriting the title won't change his medium life at all. But today sparked a tiny glimmer of hope, so he begs Ellison to mentor him again. Ellison listens, low-key amused by this. He points out that asking a random restaurant owner to mentor a noble is definitely not normal. But he instantly clocks the real issue. The kid has 0 confidence because he has been gatekept and smothered for years. He tells the Baron that his upbringing basically nerfed his independence, stopping him from ever standing on business. So Ellison drops some simple advice. Lock eyes with people when speaking and own your actions. He explains that being a truly great lord means listening closely, thinking things through, and making the final call that actually hits right. If the choice lands, it's a win. If it flops, he takes the L, learns, and moves on. Before he can process, Ellison stands up, casually mentioning his burger is getting cold. Left with that, the Baron sits in silence, letting it sink in. He takes a bite, and something shifts inside. Meanwhile, Ellison and Lauren teleport outside. Lauren is curious why he did the absolute most for the Baron. Ellison flashes the gold coin. No charity, just pure business. At 100,000 runes, that is way past burger money. Lauren is totally shook, staring at the insane price tag. Ellison shrugs. For a bag like that, premium service is only fair. He hopes the Baron becomes a regular, but Lauren is low-key hating, complaining it means fewer burgers for her. Meanwhile, at an outskirts clinic, elf doctor Alina vents to Rain, who listens like a true bestie. Alina left her home genuinely wanting to help, but instead of gratitude, she keeps getting hit with major bias. Pure obsession. Most patients don't want cures, they just want to simp over an elf. Some spread rumors, calling her a seductress, while others treat her like an exhibit, not a doctor. Slowly, this toxicity makes her feel like an outsider, despite her pure vibes. Rain listens patiently, then drops the real question. Does Elena even vibe with healing anymore? Elena admits she's still low-key obsessed, despite the heavy baggage. Rain tells her to guard that spark and check out the Hillside Cafe for a vibe check. It might actually restore her faith in humanity. Meanwhile, Ellison is grinding at the lair. Crayston introduces his own nephew and drops a major update. Alina just pulled up to the restaurant. But when Ellison finally gets back to his base, he walks straight into absolute pure chaos. Alina is literally on her knees before Lauren, who's smirking, demanding Elena serve her like a minion for forgiveness. Ellison freezes, fist clenching in pure rage, and immediately snaps, asking Lauren what she's doing to a customer. Rewind a bit. Lauren was just slacking off on a restaurant table when the door opened. Alina crept in, asking if anyone was actually there. Lauren got up, saying the boss was out. But then her eyes instantly locked onto something else entirely. Alina was an elf. Lauren checked her out openly, hyping up how elves are gorgeous and the rumors are no cap. Feeling awkward, Alina politely returned the compliment, saying Lauren was pretty too and looked way younger than expected. Instantly, Lauren's vibe turned totally dark. She flashed a menacing smile and asked, "Are you seriously implying that I look young?" She coldly flexed that while she's young for a dragon, she's still way older than Alina, demanding who gave her permission to speak so casually. Instantly, the room's vibe turned suffocatingly heavy. The aura was so terrifying that Alina couldn't take it and collapsed. That is the exact mess Ellison walks back into. After handling Lauren, he opens the door, apologizes for the drama, and welcomes Alina inside. Lauren gets bonked and sits there crying, leaving Alina completely shook. Honestly, it makes 0 sense to her. Dragons are literal raid bosses, walking natural disasters that wipe out entire villages. Seeing one throw a baby tantrum is just not mathing. Still rattled, Alina cautiously asks Ellison if he is actually human. He hesitates for a moment, realizing Lauren already spilled the tea and totally leaked his secret. Whispering, he confirms he's indeed human and she's a legit dragon. Keep this low-key, it's complicated. Elina quickly replies, "No cap, I'm not trying to smoke with a dragon. I value my life way too much." Ellison tries to reassure her she's totally safe here, but he knows their first vibe check already failed miserably. To pivot and save the mood, he asks her, "Are you the elf council member Rain recommended?" Alina confirms it, making Ellison low-key stress. Now we can totally picture how trash this place looks from her POV. Back on Earth, this terrible service would get them absolutely dragged on Yelp. Sensing the awkward vibe shift, Alina casually mentions hearing that their veggies actually slap. Ellison instantly locks in, professionally asking if she has any specific dietary restrictions. Alina explains it's not a moral thing. Her body just low-key rejects meat. Hearing this, Ellison heads to the kitchen to whip up something that hits the spot. Pasta it is. He sautés onions, garlic, and mushrooms, layering flavors with spices. While the sauce simmers, he boils spaghetti, saving that starchy water to make it all vibe together. He serves Elena, making sure she knows it is strictly vegetarian. One bite in, and her mind is completely blown. This hits so different from her usual raw veggies, it literally rewrites her whole food game. The pasta is such an absolute banger that she devours every single bite with zero hesitation, totally obsessed with this incredibly insane new flavor. Ellison peeps her vibe and teases her about loving the food. Low-key embarrassed, Alina hides her face, admitting it totally slaps and she cannot stop. Handing her a napkin, he says there is no need to apologize. He's just glad she vibes with it. Alina explains she rarely hits restaurants because her looks attract too much unwanted attention, and most spots lack legit vegetarian options. Even then, the food is usually just straight mid. Her face lights up. This food literally changed her worldview. She thanks Rain for the rec, calling it a certified banger meal. Ellison finally breathes easy. The restaurant successfully redeemed itself in her eyes. But the chill vibe instantly dies. Creston stands up, absolutely furious, demanding to know what Nellen just said. Nellen drops the bomb again, revealing that he is not actually related to his own mother by blood. The vibe instantly goes cold as Nellen reveals how shook he is by the news. Creston tries to talk sense into him, reminding him how his mom grinded solo after losing her husband, raising a kid who wasn't even her own. That's peak nobility. Nellen's voice shakes, admitting he fumbled bad. Overwhelmed by pure rage, he rejected her lunch and threw mad shade right at her. Hearing that, Creston absolutely snaps, grabs Nellen's collar and furiously barks that some sacred lines should never be crossed. Things get so toxic, Ellison has to step in to stop the crash out. Just as it finally chills, Rain bursts in, pale and panicked, screaming the mine collapsed with Nellen's mom trapped inside. Nellen instantly loses it, demanding answers. Shook, Rain says she went in looking for him. That is all it takes. Now, Nellen is fully locked in. Eaten alive by guilt and pure panic, Nellen loses it and bolts for the mine. He is desperate to save her. Ellison and Alina chase after him, but they pull up to absolute madness. Crowds are barely holding Nellen back. If he breaks loose, he is diving headfirst into that collapsed death trap for his mom. Everyone is screaming at him to chill, warning of another collapse. But pure panic has won. Ellison and Alina pull up. Ellison immediately takes charge, telling everyone to chill. They're heading inside to rescue Nellen's mom right now. The crowd instantly objects, calling it a total suicide mission. Another sudden collapse could easily bury even more people. But Ellison stands his ground. It's a literal emergency, and Alina's a healer. Injured survivors might still be trapped inside, needing immediate heals to survive. After some serious pushback, the crowd finally backs down and lets the two of them through. Deeper in the mine, Elena thanks Ellison for risking his neck for total strangers, openly admitting how insane this is. She's like, you really don't have to be here. Suddenly, the cave violently shakes, rocks rain down, but Ellison is totally unfazed, casually dropping a barrier to shield them. Walking on, he flexes that back in the day, he was actually a pretty cracked magician. Then, curious, he turns the tables on her. So why risk your life in a collapsing mine when you could be chilling safe back at your Greek City medical clinic? Alina hesitates, totally lost for words, but before she can speak, they hit a fork in the tunnel. No time to check both ways, so Ellison starts chanting. His spell summons glowing light spirits, flexing hard to brighten the dark mine before splitting up to scout both paths. Alina is shook as the spirits lead them straight to some injured workers. One guy sees the glow and thinks he is hallucinating, but then our duo pulls up, proving the rescue is legit. Their injuries are not too bad, so Alina heals them, while Ellison uses his magic to clear the blocked path, moving heavy rocks. The survivors are evacuated, but Nellen's mom is still MIA. No way they're quitting. Ellison and Alina push deeper into the ruins until they finally spot her, passed out, critically injured. Alina checks her. It's bad, way worse than the rest. She instantly locks in, unleashing a powerful high-tier healing spell. Soft green light glows, wrapping the injured woman as Alina pushes her magic to the absolute limit to save her. Outside the mine, Rain is totally losing it, crying from pure panic. Ken tries to ground her, saying Elena's healing is absolutely legit. If anyone can clutch this, it's her. Ellison comforts a paralyzed Nellen, promising his mom is finally out of the red zone. Shaking but locked in, Elena explains the head trauma is fully patched up. The eye injury looked super sketchy, but it's actually fine. Once the bandages are off, she will definitely see again. Looking at her lying there, the guilt hits Nellen like a truck. Then he spots the breakfast basket she lovingly made that morning, the exact meal he ruthlessly rejected. The regret is unreal. He spirals, blaming himself, convinced his own words caused this. Suddenly, his mom stirs, weakly calling his name. Hearing her voice, he completely loses it. He collapses beside her, crying, spamming apologies. He was terrified his toxic words were his last. She weeps too. Hearing him say mom again hits different. As long as he is safe, she is Gucci. Watching this wholesome reunion, Elena quietly reflects on the wild journey that brought her here. She tells Ellison she was seriously ready to pack up her clinic and head back to her hometown, totally drained by toxic vibes and zero trust from the people around her. But Rain hyped her up, pushing her to find reasons to love this place she had started to resent. Alina admits human lives are short compared to elves, but they burn with this intense, exhausting, yet beautiful energy. Honestly, that raw passion and sincerity is exactly why she opened her clinic and stayed. Smiling faintly, she adds she has recently discovered one more major human win. Their incredible food absolutely slaps. Before she can say more, she hits her absolute limit and almost collapses. Ellison catches her, but things get low-key awkward when he transfers mana to recharge her. Elena feels this energy and is totally shook because this vibe is straight-up elven magic. When she questions him about it, Ellison quickly dodges, capping that he learned it from a close friend named Bayon. The name alone shakes her. Bayon isn't just some random elf. He's a straight-up legendary hero. She instantly asks how Ellison even knows a VIP like that, but Ellison totally dodges the explanation, claiming he was once a pretty big deal magician back in the day. Meanwhile, back at the restaurant, Lauren is in her feelings, digging furiously and complaining nonstop. She rants about Ellison leaving her with all the grunt work, especially since she can't flex her magic in public. Right as she's peaking in saltiness, water suddenly bursts out, soaking her completely. Later, Ellison returns to find the cave absolutely wrecked. It is giving total war zone, with mud everywhere. Right in the center stands Lauren, covered in dirt, but radiating pure main character energy. When he asks what happened, she casually explains that water started spraying, so she naturally dug deeper to find the source. Ellison is low-key fuming, but holds back his anger, reminding himself she did not do this out of spite. Looking around, he quickly realizes she literally struck an underground water vein. He points out that even with magic, finding water is hard, and she somehow dug way deeper than he ever expected. Ellison reminds her they literally agreed to reinforce the cave so it doesn't collapse. Lauren, totally unbothered, flexes that she already set up barriers, so it's low-key fine. But Ellison sees the structure is still super sketchy and needs real help. He starts channeling massive magic to stabilize the walls. Lauren panics, telling him to chill, because if he overdoes it, he'll blow up the entire mountain. Ellison actually listens, carefully tweaking his spell to secure the cave safely, while Lauren joins in, layering her own magic to double protect the structure and keep it steady. Reinforcements done, a loud boom suddenly shakes the cave, and the water erupts even harder. Ellison checks it out. Yep, Lauren actually stumbled right onto a legit underground water vein. Better yet, it's a natural hot spring, steaming from deep down. Before he can stop her, Lauren yeets herself straight in to warm up, only to instantly panic, screaming that she's literally getting boiled alive. Watching her flail, Ellison roasts her for jumping the gun without thinking. Sighing, he finally steps up to fix this entire hot mess for real. Palm to the ground, he flexes his magic to terraform a sleek basin for the hot spring. Slowly, the pool shapes up, filling with crystal clear warm water. Once it stabilizes, he drops the upper barrier to let it flow. Then, zero warning, he yeets Lauren straight back into the pool. She screeches in pure rage, hitting the water. But the second she sinks, her vibe completely shifts. The water is a total vibe now, perfectly warm thanks to Ellison's quick fix. Ditching his coat, he casually slides into the hot spring with her. Soaking in the warmth, Lauren gets curious and asks where he had vanished to earlier, having noticed his disappearance. She wanted his receipts. Ellison explains a mine collapsed, so he had to save people. Lauren completely ignores the disaster, focusing solely on the real tea. Was he with that elf? Ellison admits it. He needed Alina's healing magic, since that is not his lane. Cue the instant sulking. Lauren turns away from him, muttering under her breath. She's salty he was out with someone else while she was left grinding in the cave alone. Plus, she low-key hates elves and basically anyone who isn't a dragon. Ellison clocks the jealousy immediately. Instead of calling her out, he plays it smooth, conjuring a cup of hot cocoa to soothe her. Even while sulking, Lauren cannot resist. One sip and her mood instantly gets a major glow-up. Seeing this, Ellison whips up a cup for himself too. Chilling in the warm water, sipping cocoa, Ellison drops some lore on its origins. He explains that cocoa powder comes from cacao beans. Making something so basic actually takes mad effort. Harvesting, drying, roasting, and grinding. Behind just one cup, a whole team is low-key working hard to make it happen. From there, Ellison keeps checking his own stats. Sure, he has cheat power to nuke a mine, but he admits he is not built for everything. He can destroy, but healing? Zero recovery skills. Even stocking his fridge is a fail without Creston carrying him on grocery runs. Building a massive dragon lair is the same. Magic alone cannot spawn it. You need dwarves to carry the build. So Ellison drops real wisdom on Lauren. No matter your level, race, or flex, everyone has their own lane and things they cannot solo. Even dragons need backup. It doesn't make them weak. Lauren acts tough, but his words finally hit different. She quietly admits that to her, Ellison is just built different. No one else can compare. Meanwhile, far from this wholesome moment, serious trouble is brewing. A mercenary escort squad gets ambushed by bandits, and the vibe check goes horribly wrong. Things are going south real fast. They try to resist, but the pressure is insane, and their leader, Mint, gets absolutely wrecked. A bandit drags him off the cliff, yeeting him into the dark abyss. Meanwhile, Ellison closes the shop to focus on his grind. Lauren spots the sign and asks why. Ellison explains that running out of milk for hot cocoa was a huge wake-up call. If he wants this place to succeed, he seriously needs a stable supply chain, no cap. Next up on his agenda, building a farm to raise baroniques for milk. They are downstream by Barren River. But when he suggests teleporting, Lauren gives him a major side-eye. Unlike him, she cannot fast travel to places she has never seen. She reminds him she only clutched that last teleport by sniffing his cooking to the castle. Ellison insists she just needs the general vibe and to trust her gut. Lauren reluctantly agrees, and they teleport downstream. But their teleport is a total massive fail. Instantly, they are falling straight from the sky. Yet they still find time to bicker in the air. Ellison screams, "Why is a literal dragon scared of falling? Use your wings already, bro!" Lauren is literally clinging to his neck, screaming she would rather die than go full dragon mode. Gatekeeping her reasons, she absolutely refuses to flex her powers. Ellison does not press, just using magic for a smooth landing. Touchdown. Lauren stares at the massive water, totally shook. Ellison is like, "That is the ocean, bestie." Cue the instant embarrassment. But there is no time to dwell on drama. The grind never stops, and they still have to catch 10 baronerics. He raises the stakes. Loser does dishes. Lauren grumbles, but her pride won't let her back down. Meanwhile, 3 loyal regulars are waiting outside the locked restaurant, looking absolutely down bad. No cap, Ellison's cooking is basically their entire personality now. As they wait, the trio starts trauma dumping, sharing their mutual misery and complaining about how they are literally starving to death out here. Food secured. Down by the shore, Ellison and Lauren spot the Baronerics just chilling. Using her OP dragon heritage, Lauren easily mind controls them into a temporary pen. No sweat. Ellison says it'll do for now, but he'll build a proper shelter later. With the beasts locked down, it's time to bounce. Back at the diner, Ellison is shook. The 3 regulars are still waiting outside, looking literally starved. He clutches up just in time, quickly whipping up their faves. While inhaling the food, Creston jokes that if Ellison flaked today, they would have dug 3 graves right next to the shop. Cause of death, starvation. Ellison just stares, completely exhausted and done. Meanwhile, Lauren took a massive L on their bet and is stuck doing the dishes in the very back. While working, Creston spots Ellison's plans for raising Baron Eric's and drops a major reality check. How is he going to manage them solo when he's already short-staffed? Ellison admits he's been stressing over the same thing. His fix? Hire some help. Since the ranch needs top-tier care, he can't just hire randoms. He decides to post a job opening and run interviews. Creston finds this hilarious, noting how elves can low-key vibe check anyone's true motives. Still, he warns the young Baron to spot the fakes himself. Still, Creston stacks up, flexing his mercenary years as a certified vibe checker. Elena and the Baron also join the squad to help Ellison find the perfect fit. The next day, caretaker interviews kick off, and the recruitment flyer pulls a massive crowd. Creston, Elena, and Dion eagerly take their seats as judges. The first candidate barely speaks before getting instantly rejected because Creston decides his aura is way off. Next up is a handsome guy serving major main character energy. Creston is vibing, but Elena uses her mind-reading cheat code. Instantly, she catches him thinking down bad, sus thoughts about her and yeets him out. Then comes candidate 3, a veteran boasting 30 years of experience, promising the ultimate Greek city meadow. But Dion takes over and goes totally unhinged, firing endless questions about Baron Eric comfort, sick care, and feeding schedules. He even dumps a massive, complex scroll on him, demanding instant, perfect answers. Completely overwhelmed, the poor man mutters that this whole gig is insane and rage quits on the spot. Watching this absolute madness unfold from the sidelines, Ellison starts feeling so deeply uneasy. The trio's chaotic hype and gatekeeping turn the entire interview process into a total clown show. The rejection reasons get so incredibly unhinged, applicants get booted before they can even drop their names. Ellison is literally crying watching this absolute train wreck, and by the end of the day, they've ghosted every single candidate. Clueless Creston wonders if the pay was too low, totally blind to the fact that they personally scared off the whole queue. Left with no other choice, Ellison steps in, thanks them for their help, and announces he'll run the next round solo. Just then, Miltine walks in, trying to snag the open job. Creston instantly confronts her, totally shocked she's back already. Aren't you supposed to be escorting? She explains they got junked by bandits, and Mint fell off a cliff saving her. Creston's vibe immediately goes dark. He demands to know why Mint gate-kept this whole situation from him. Miltine drops the real kicker. Mint survived, but his leg is cooked, forcing him to retire from the mercenary grind. She gets gloomy, recalling how Elena wanted to help, but the healing magic window had already closed. Now Elena just does occasional vibe checks. Hearing this, Lauren bluntly asks why Miltine is the one grinding for jobs if Mint is actually sidelined. Ellison immediately shuts her down, telling her to read the room because Miltine is already stressed out. But honestly, Lauren just voiced the exact question everyone was quietly thinking. An elite mercenary quitting that life to job hunt here? Pretty sus. Blushing hard, Miltine explains she is not just looking for herself, but is trying to find a gig that fits Mint too. Her face goes full tomato, and suddenly the whole room gets the vibe. Creston stares, completely shook, and asks, "Wait, how old are you anyway?" She says she is 29, and he totally loses it, yelling that Mint is 13 years older. Miltine is completely unbothered, claiming age is just a number. Elena is totally clueless, since 13 years is literally a blink for elves. Ellison steps in, explaining that since human lifespans are short, age caps just hit different for them. Even after hearing that reality check, Miltine stands her ground, remaining unfazed. She's dead set on this. She quit the mercenary guild and wants a job here, even if she ends up starving. Instead of clowning her, Lauren's actually vibing with her resolve, muttering that age is just a number, which hits different coming from someone way older than she looks. Ellison respects Miltine's grind and loves that she's down to partner with Mint, but he drops a reality check. They still haven't heard Mint's take on this whole situation. Miltine blushes hard, admitting she has not even talked to him yet. Her plan? Secure the bag first, then drop the news. Mint literally taught her everything, from sword basics to weapon maintenance. Now she wants to prove she can handle farm life, stand on her own, and support his new chapter. Elena is low-key touched, vibing with her dedication to stay by his side. But she secretly wonders if support is just a cover for how she really feels. Ellison pauses, then tells Miltine that once she secures that first milk bucket, he's got the perfect recipe to celebrate with Mint. Welcoming her aboard, he's low-key hyped to work together. The next morning, Miltine shows up early, ready to grind. Her first task is simple: let the Baronerics out to graze. As she cautiously approaches the first one, she realizes these giant beasts are actually super chill. No clue what cheat code keeps them this chill, so she thinks it's an easy dub. Instant reality check, though. One tiny nudge from a Baronaric sends her flying. She keeps trying different strats, but it's a major skill issue. She gets wrecked all day, struggling just to survive this brutal grind. By evening, she's low-key losing it. Feeding these Baronarics dry hay is a total fail. They just crowd her, completely ghosting the fresh grass she's pointing at. Exhausted, she plops down, venting about how drained she is. She's stressing she'll get fired before even working with Mint. Just as despair hits, one Baronaric walks over and gently nudges her with its nose. To her surprise, the beast low-key understands her. Plot twist, it actually lets her milk it. Hyped, Miltine fills her first bucket and runs to Ellison to flex her win. Ellison is shook, admitting he thought she'd take a whole week. Smiling, he praises her effort and says to freshen up because they have another major quest waiting. Confused, Miltine asks what's cooking. Ellison drops the blueprint. They're using that milk to make a cheesy pizza for Mint. He walks her through the process, from pasteurizing to curdling it with vinegar. As he kneads the curds in warm water to wash out the whey and make mozzarella, Miltine says this looks low-key sus and unlike any cheese she knows. Ellison just smiles. Trust the process. It is just built different. Then, totally casual, he drops that this special dish is the ultimate way to confess to Mint. That hits different, making her blush hard. She instantly caps, saying she hasn't even thought about confessing, but the seed is planted. Meanwhile, Ellison, flexing his dough skills, starts bragging about his riz back in the day. Curious, Miltine asks if he's a dating pro, only for him to admit he's actually got zero game and has never been on a date. Still unfazed, he hands over the pizza and drops some major wisdom. Just keep it 100. He tells her to let her cook, promising Mint will feel the vibes. Miltine rolls her eyes at his expert advice, but takes the pizza, ready to shoot her shot. With everything prepped, the squad checks on Mint while Miltine waits outside, low-key nervous. After catching up, Ellison introduces Elena to Mint, explaining she is a legendary elf doctor who runs a highly respected clinic and is famous for her healing. Mint looks low-key shook by that intro. Then Miltine steps up, blushing hard, nervously asking how he's doing. Right then, Mint finally gets the real vibe of this visit. Elena calmly starts treating his bad leg. Her magic can't fully patch him up, but it's clutch for his rehab, taking some weight off his shoulders. With treatment done, Mint turns back to Miltine, prompting her to spill whatever she wanted to say. He's waiting. Miltine's heart is racing, sweating bullets while everyone silently hypes her up to finally confess. But at the very last second, she fumbles. Panicking, she abruptly pivots, asking if he's starving and suggesting they grab food first, hoping it buys her some time. She locks in, remembering Ellison's advice. Just keep it 100 and your sincerity will reach him. Nervously, she presents her masterpiece, a handmade pizza with toppings low-key shaped like a heart. It's called pizza, she stammers. Ellison helped, but I made this very special treat myself. Does it look pretty to you? Mint totally misses the vibe, just wanting to eat. He grabs a slice, no hesitation. Once everyone digs in, Mint takes a bite and is shook. He thought cheese was just smelly market trash, but this pizza actually slaps. The flavor and texture instantly win him over. While they feast, Miltine eats in dead silence. Mint hypes her cooking, shocked she can whip up such unique eats. Miltine locks in, bravely asking about his future plans. Her sudden serious vibe makes him pause. Mint admits he has no clue. That is when she drops the offer. Come work with me at Ellison's ranch. Mint is totally shook, asking what ranch? Ellison steps in with a flex, explaining he just bought one and wants Mint on the team. Mint's stunned, especially finding out Miltine already works there. Wait, what about your mercenary gig? He asks. Blushing, Miltine looks away, then drops a truth bomb. She quit the guild right after him because she wants to stay by his side forever. She finally said it out loud. Mint smiles warmly and says yes. Miltine is absolutely glowing with pure happiness. Everyone else is vibing. Then Milt casually drops a total mood killer. Since she left the mercenaries, he suggests it's time to start meeting some local young guys. He even adds she is finally old enough to date seriously. Miltine instantly freezes on the spot, left completely shook. Ellison instantly gets it, scratching his head as he realizes Mint totally missed the vibe. Meanwhile, Mint, completely clueless about the emotional damage he just caused, keeps yapping about starting his ranch job. Ellison gently tells him to just chill and focus on healing first. As they pack up, Ellison quietly apologizes to Miltine, admitting he thought her plan would work and that sincerity would carry. On the way back, he tries to comfort her, but Miltine shrugs it off, saying they'll have plenty of time to bond. She fakes a smile, capping about being fine and hyped to work together. But once she steps away, her mask slips and tears flow. She weeps quietly, yet she refuses to fold. The squad watches, feeling bad but totally speechless. Meanwhile, Mint sits alone, lost in thought. It seems he low-key knew everything all along, but is not ready to face it. The very next day, Crown Prince Leon of the Loving Empire pulls up. He's rocking a fake smile, but his subtle side-eye shows he's totally unimpressed by this basic countryside. Passing by, he spots two absolute baddies by the roadside. Zero hesitation, he rizzes them up, inviting them to the castle tonight. Watching this play out, Porgo asks Madrini what's the deal. Meanwhile, Leon's face sours even more, complaining about the lazy, disrespectful welcome from Greek City's lord. Meanwhile, Dion preps to face the prince solo, since his mom is sick and sidelined. Sensing his stress, the steward hypes him up, reminding Dion he's carrying his family's legacy and representing his people, who still back him. Dion enters the room where the prince and Porgo wait, takes a deep breath, and silently prays to his dad for strength. Reaching the table, the vibe instantly goes cold. Porgo asks about Count Greek, and Dion's face immediately darkens. He explains his dad is still bedridden, the stress visibly living rent-free on his face. Prince Leon acts totally unbothered, calling the situation unfortunate. He casually mentions Count Greek used to back Duke Saren. Dion treads lightly, claiming they have not vibed in ages. Leon then drops a rumor that Saren's health is also cooked. Dion stays on high alert, knowing one wrong word here means a total instant game over. Sensing his perfect cue, Porgo pivots smoothly, hinting it's high time for Dion to switch sides. If the Greek territory aligns with him, they get massive backing, securing Dion's title as Baron. Dion hesitates, knowing this choice is a major gamble. He plays it cool, carefully saying he can't make that call on the fly. But Porgo doubles down, bringing up the neighbors' civil war and that huge irrigation project. He warns that both events mean borderlands like Greek are about to get taxed to absolute oblivion. Dion is shook. He asks if this is a legit order from the royal capital. Porgo just smirks, dodging the question. He says managing this land is the Count's problem, but teaming up would make life way easier. Dion gets the low-key threat. Do nothing, and his fief becomes a chaotic political war zone. Cornered and stressed, he suddenly blurts out that he's throwing a massive banquet first, and only then will he decide. Porgo is totally unimpressed, seeing through the obvious delay tactic. But Prince Leon suddenly vibes with it, claiming he's bored of palace food and wants to try something new. Cornered, Dion reluctantly agrees to cook them a legendary feast. Meanwhile, back at the restaurant, Ellison is whipping up some fried rice for his crew, and the smell is absolutely fire. Lauren complains she is getting full, but keeps eating anyway. Ellison is just like, go for seconds, we have plenty. Suddenly, the peaceful vibe is ruined. Knights storm in, and their leader, Sword, instantly demands to see the boss. Ellison steps up, totally unbothered, telling them to lower their weapons because ruining dinner is straight-up clown behavior. The knights have zero chill, though. One presses a blade to his neck, demanding he kneel. Big mistake. Ellison's patience is officially dead. With an icy cold voice, he gives the knight one final warning to back off now. This clueless NPC doesn't realize he's about to get erased, raising his sword like he's actually him. Before he swings, a sharp voice cuts the tension, ordering a hard stop. It's Dariant, the vice captain and Ellison's old acquaintance. Dariant immediately rips into his squad, sending them outside the kneel with hands up. He then apologizes to Ellison, admitting his knights were just on watch duty but seriously overstepped. Ellison lets it slide, vibing with their loyalty, but telling Dariant to keep this nonsense on lock. Cue the flashback. Dariant remembers when they were down bad and Ellison saved his squad. Dude literally solo carried, breaking enemy lines and flipping a total wipe into a massive W. But Ellison just shrugs it off, hyping up their discipline and Dariant's leadership instead. Then Dariant gets real, voice dropping. He confesses that back then he chased clout, leaving his wife starving in poverty, a massive L that still haunts him. Turns out, Ellison secretly sent Dariant's rejected reward money straight to his wife. That silent kindness hit different, leaving Dariant feeling forever indebted. To pay him back, he cooks up a wild, extra scheme that leaves Ellison completely speechless. Dariant proposes shutting down every single other rival restaurant in Greek so Ellison can gatekeep the entire food scene. Before Ellison can even protest, Dariant starts barking orders like a drill sergeant, making his already miserable life a total living nightmare. Elsewhere, Porgo is stressing hard. The Crown Prince eating at some random sketchy spot? If things go south, it's over. Leon, though, completely unbothered. But during their journey, the vibe instantly shifts. Boom! A volley of arrows rains down on the prince, only to freeze in midair. Madrina, the Grand Mage, clutched up with a magic barrier, protecting Leon without a second thought. The assassins pull up right after, boldly announcing they are only here for the prince's head and will let everyone else slide. Madrina locks in instantly. She unleashes her mana, quaking the earth and pinning the attackers under overwhelming pressure. This absolute flex proves exactly why she is the Crown Prince's elite bodyguard. As rocks rain down, burying the assassins before they can even react, Leon stands completely untouched amidst the chaos. He just watches the Empire's 7th-ranked Grand Mage delete the entire threat like it is absolutely nothing at all. Seeing her flex like that, he realizes she's a total cheat code. No enemy stands a chance. He hypes her up as the Empire's ultimate weapon, but Madrina stays completely chill and humble. Watching from afar, Dion is shook. The rumors weren't cap. She really is a one-woman army who can solo entire legions. Meanwhile, back at the restaurant, Dariant and Ellison are vibing. Ellison roasts him for always rushing in headfirst without a plan. Dariant awkwardly admits that's a major skill issue and promises he'll start fixing it right now. Ellison laughs, bringing up another time Dariant's reckless behavior clowned the whole squad. Dariant laughs awkwardly, promising to do better. Suddenly, Dariant spots someone approaching and freezes. His vibe completely shifts. He orders the outside knights to hold their ground, urgently whispering, "The Crown Prince is pulling up." Ellison stays chill, finally realizing why the First Knight Order has been so active in Greek City. Crown Prince Leon pulls up, and Ellison plays it cool, keeping his guard up because this meeting is low-key a big deal. Spotting the entourage, Ellison locks eyes with Madrina, who's rocking a retro Royal Mage Corps uniform. Leon peeps the vibe and instantly clocks Ellison's history with the Corps. Ellison shrugs it off, saying he only wears the old drip because it's comfy, despite being discharged ages ago. Hyped by the connection, Leon proudly introduces Madrina as a Tier 7 Grand Mage, assuming Ellison knows the legend, and eagerly calls her over to join him. Madrina freezes instantly. Porgo, already losing his patience, snaps her back to reality. She slowly dismounts, takes off her helmet, and approaches, visibly shaking. Leon proudly hypes her up to Ellison, completely clueless. Madrina is sweating bullets. Ellison's boss aura is just too insane, and one wrong move means instant game over. Ellison hits her with a chill, pleasant smile, but she instantly clocks it as a low-key threat. Playing along, she nervously caps that they are total strangers. Leon totally buys it, looking pretty bummed out. Madrina, though, fully understands the assignment. He is acting clueless to dodge immediate drama. Seizing the perfect pivot, she immediately announces their squad is holding a massive banquet at the restaurant, officially tasking Ellison to cook up an absolute masterpiece of a feast. The vibe shifts instantly the second Leon steps inside. Looking around, he notes how clean it is. Ellison immediately apologizes for the mid-decor, saying he could not prep for elite VIPs. Leon shrugs it off. Taste over aesthetics, always. Then he drops a challenge. Cook something that actually slays the Crown Prince's taste buds. To make it even wilder, he drags Dion into a bet on the spot. If the food flops, Dion has to streak naked through the city. Dion is visibly shook by that wild suggestion, but Leon keeps pushing anyway. Ellison accepts the challenge because his rep is on the line. First up, a delicate mushroom soup. Leon admits the aroma is nice and the flavor is balanced, but dismisses it as mid since he has tasted way better. Porgo backs him up, calling it totally basic. Ellison turns to Madrina, asking for her take. Hesitating, she pops the soup lid, only to spot a floating message ordering her to hype it up. Her heart skips a beat. She has to lock in immediately. Taking a quick sip, she suddenly slams the table, stands up dramatically, and goes full try-hard. She declares the soup absolute fire, hyping its flavor as literal Tier 9 magic itself. Her extra, over-the-top performance leaves both the Crown Prince and Porgo completely shook. It is totally shameless and cringe, but it works, shifting the vibe and saving Ellison from the hot seat. Inside, Madrina is literally dying of embarrassment, hoping this wild drama will satisfy him. Still recovering, she frantically hypes up the soup, begging Leon to try it again. Secretly impressed and amused by her chaotic energy, Leon finally agrees to taste the soup again. He teases that if she's hyping it this hard, maybe it deserves a second chance, joking her reactions are way more extra than he ever expected. Dion, quickly trying to diffuse the awkward vibe, admits the soup is low-key fire, adding he'd grab seconds if this weren't such an important event. But everyone sees through it. Madrina's wild performance isn't about the soup. She's doing way too much. As a top-tier royal mage, she's definitely eaten better, making this sudden glazing super sus. Leon and Porgo both clock it, silently questioning what could possibly make someone of her high rank act so completely unhinged over a single basic bowl of hot soup. Dion eyes Ellison, suspecting the owner is low-key the main event. Ellison smirks, hiding a laugh. He casually promises the next plate is coming, walking off like a total boss who has everything under control. Leon is still not buying it, muttering that the soup is mid compared to palace food. Porgo laughs along, throwing in a quick, playful joke. He had no clue Madrina was this obsessed with mushroom soup, even promising to add it to the palace menu. Low-key embarrassed by the spotlight, she insists the soup is just built different, chugging the rest to dodge questions. But as she bottoms up, a secret message appears. Meet Ellison out back. Realizing she just drank a major red flag, she panics, spits out the last sip, and coughs so hard Leon instantly looks over. He whispers to Porgo that Madrina is acting totally unhinged today. Needing an escape, she dips to the back of the restaurant. Ellison is already there, chilling against the railing like a literal main character. Madrina creeps up, nervously asking if he was the one who had summoned her. Suddenly, out of nowhere, a glowing rainbow barrier traps them both. The moment she recognizes the soundproof barrier, she knows they are totally off the grid. Ellison turns to her with a sweet, innocent smile, acting all warm. "Long time no see," he says, low-key roasting her earlier performance as pure comedy. It's giving major backhanded compliment energy, leaving her completely speechless. Before she can even try to process this, he drops a chilling reminder. He did warn her to never, ever cross his path again. His smile fades. The vibe instantly goes cold as a heavy, menacing aura suffocates the room. He's glad she's alive, but pulling up here means she totally violated their secret deal. Panicking, Madrina stammers that she had zero clue he was even in this city. Ellison isn't buying the cap at all. He demands to know why she's riding with Leon. She explains she's just following Duke Tamarin's strict orders. He's rapidly expanding his territory and needs to flex his influence in the royal court. Ellison shuts her down instantly. He couldn't care less about Tamarin's plans. He only wants Leon's real game. Under his heavy stare, Madrina is sweating bullets. Ellison then exposes Leon's reputation himself, calling him a corrupt, clout-chasing fraud who manipulates everyone while acting totally low-key. His voice drops, warning that Leon's trash behavior, especially how he is exploiting Dion, is actually part of a much bigger, way darker plot. Then he demands the one answer she's gatekeeping. What's the Crown Prince's endgame? Shaking, Madrina swears she can't spill. Even under torture, she's physically unable to leak those secrets. Ellison's face goes cold, testing if she's for real. In the end, all she can admit is that she just wants to escape. Later, Madrina returns to the table looking totally pale and deeply, visibly shaken. Leon and Porgo peep this instantly, but keep it low-key. Trying to cope, Madrina clutches her chest, capping that she is just savoring the soup's aftertaste. Leon knows it is cap, but lets it slide, noting it is wild for an outskirt joint to serve this. His side eye at Dion says it all. The young lord is definitely gatekeeping some major secrets. Still, Leon won't back down from the bet. He reminds Duke Tamarin of the terms. The Duke smirks, repeating the goal. Serve a dish that actually satisfies the prince. Leon's grin turns savage, twisting the knife. He mocks Dion, saying even if his bedridden dad resurrected to personally serve the food, it still wouldn't hit the spot. Dion clenches his fists but stays totally cool, replying he'll take any L to protect his people and secure their future. That main character energy earns silent respect from everyone in the room, even Leon, who masks it with a scoff. As golden hour floods the room, Ellison flexes the main course. He lifts the lid with major main character energy, revealing what looks like a smoky pile of dirt. Porgo is instantly sus, questioning this sketchy dish, but Ellison casually explains it is an ancient recipe, chicken baked in clay. He grabs a hammer, cracks the shell, and boom, a perfectly roasted chicken is revealed. No cap, it looks fire. That sudden, rich aroma hits, instantly grabbing everyone's attention. Slicing it open, Ellison drops the deep lore behind the dish, comparing it to a hidden gem masked by a totally mid exterior. He's not just describing food, he's low-key calling out Leon's toxic, manipulative mind games without even saying his name. For once, the Crown Prince is left completely speechless. Ellison peeps his reaction, stays chill, and drops one last major truth bomb. Fake vibes might deceive, but the absolute truth always comes to light. His words linger, heavy and tense. Then the vibe shifts into straight-up danger. Clutching a broken clay shard like it is absolute court receipts, Ellison calmly brings up the Ruberan Empire. He claims the Dragon War left the Empire totally nerfed, and the King's fading aura let the greedy counts run wild. Silence hits the entire room because his take is just too sharp. It is giving Major lurking in the shadows, plotting this entire time main character energy. Leon's anxiety spikes hard with every single word. Ellison drops a major truth bomb. Royal Clout is dead, leaving the Crown Prince on thin ice. Then he gets brutally real. In this fragile mess, giving up the throne is the only safe bet. Leon's chill facade is totally cracking now. Ellison exposes his whole act, playing the useless, lazy playboy just to hide his real secret moves. Porgo is visibly losing it. He glares at Ellison, throwing out warnings, demanding if he even gets the absolute smoke he's bringing. But Ellison stays completely chill, just asking everyone to let him cook a bit longer. Then he doubles down. Leon's clueless vibe? Total cap. It's a calculated mask. Underneath, he's plotting to clap back at the corrupt nobles and snatch back the crown's lost power. That's the final trigger. Porgo loses his entire mind, slams his hand on the table, and immediately summons Deputy Commander Dariant. Dariant walks in and the vibe instantly dies. He's sweating, sensing pure chaos. Porgo is absolutely fuming, giving Ellison the deadliest side-eye, warning him he's crossed the line. But Ellison, he's just chuckling, completely unbothered. He literally laughs in his face, basically telling Porgo that taking him down won't be that easy. Absolutely pressed, Porgo loses his mind and orders his goons to delete Ellison on the spot. Before hands can fly, Leon suddenly makes his move. He grabs his fork, chomps on the roast chicken, and his loud chewing totally kills the tense vibe. Then he laughs, slams the table, and tells everyone to sit down and eat. This main character energy leaves the room shook. Nobody knows what to do, but they slowly start eating, even though the tension is still high-key there. Leon, though, is low-key loving this. Between bites, he casually drops that playing dumb taught him more than they think. Grinning, he eyes Porgo, proving a real boss knows when to play along and when to gatekeep his hand. That sudden flex leaves Porgo completely shook. For the first time, he is left totally lost. Leon calls it. Dion won the bet, leaving the young lord totally shook. The prince stands, drapes his cloak, and thanks Ellison for the food like there was zero beef. With a casual wave, he orders his squad back to the capital. Once they finally bounce, the heavy vibe slowly fades. Ellison holds his composure until the door shuts, only then letting out a massive sigh of relief and wiping his sweat. Dion, still processing that wild dinner, asks how Ellison clutched it so smoothly. Ellison just smiles, saying you don't need to get everything. Sometimes the real flex is knowing when to make a move and when to just let things cook. The long ride back to the capital is dead silent. Porgo and Madrina walk with heads down, totally lost in thought, while Dariant stares ahead, his brain completely buffering. Leon finally breaks the silence, demanding the real tea on Ellison. Madrina hesitates, but finally spills it. He's the exact threat she warned them about. Porgo scoffs, calling Major cap on a chef being dangerous. But Leon isn't laughing. He's actually intrigued. Ellison refusing to bend to anyone? Honestly, that's a massive flex. The prince is low-key living for the drama, realizing this mysterious restaurant owner is the real deal. Leon reflects on how they built their empire purely through fear, pressure, and forcing nobles. But now, he wonders if building trust actually hits different. Meanwhile, outside the restaurant, Ellison is low-key flexing his DIY skills on a new barn. He is feeling himself and his craftsmanship. But then, an animal kicks the wall. The entire structure instantly collapses into a sad, tragic pile of wood. No cap. Ellison stands there speechless, totally embarrassed, admitting his DIY attempt was a massive fail. Laughing it off, he decides construction is strictly for the pros from now on. Cut to Miller Rec. Enter Serena, the Scarlet Dragon Guardian, a tall, buff baddie with fiery red hair and a menacing grin. She's ready to smoke whoever invaded her turf, radiating pure main character energy, heat, and dangerous confidence. Right now, she's a whole threat, and she absolutely knows it. But then she accidentally kicks a golden crown on the floor, the sharp edge hitting her shin. She shrieks, clutching her leg and hopping around, instantly ruining her boss girl aura. Confidence? Totally gone. How is she going to punish intruders when she's crying over a minor shin check? Meanwhile, on the other side, Lauren is hating on mountains. Ellison tries to keep her chill, saying they're almost there. And Lauren's validly questioning why they didn't just hire human architects instead of putting themselves through all this extra work. Ellison explains that his custom build needs insane precision, and dwarves are unmatched at that craft. Lauren hypes up the dwarf village, expecting some legendary top-tier engineering masterpiece. But reality hits way different. The massive gate is cracked, moss-covered, and giving major ghost town vibes. Past the entrance, skeletons litter the ground. It is dead silent, a grim receipt that something absolutely feral went down here. Lauren instantly guards up, scanning the wreckage. Who did this? Boom! Debris flies as a red dragon emerges, oozing pure disrespect. It looks down, totally unimpressed by this mid-lineup. Just a baby dragon and some random human. The beast scoffs, mocking them as low-tier intruders who are not even worth its energy. Talk about a massive, totally unprovoked ego check. But Ellison is totally chill. He drops his bag, making it clear he is ready to throw hands. That alone shocks the dragon, which is definitely not used to humans standing their ground. Offended by his sheer audacity, it charges a scarlet dragon's roar, a devastating blast. Flames erupt, but the second the attack lands, Ellison claps back with his own magic. Lightning sparks from his hands, completely deleting the inferno. The dragon is left shook, unable to process its ultimate move getting no-diffed so easily. Then Ellison claps back with a spell that cooks its scales, leaving it reeling in pain. The beast stammers, questioning if this guy is even human or just built different. Right then, Serena's entire confidence is officially shattered. Her smug flex instantly vanishes into pure panic as she starts begging. "No cap, this village was already totally trashed when I pulled up," she pleads. Then she drops some actually useful tea. There's a massive underground door nearby she could never seem to bypass. Realizing she's absolutely cooked, Serena quickly pivots. She slides close to Ellison, wraps an arm around his neck, and tries to rizz him up. She whispers that traveling with her would be a major upgrade compared to sticking with that incredibly mid Lauren. That flirty rizz immediately triggers Lauren. She steps up, claims her man Ellison, and straight up kicks Serena's shin. Once again, the red dragon folds in pain, clutching the exact same leg. Despite the tense drama, Serena finally spills the underground door's location. Elysian and Lauren head deeper inside the mountain, fueled by pure curiosity. They finally hit a massive door covered in weird carvings and glowing with low-key magic. As they get close, the door literally speaks, telling them to beat it. Elysian peeps it and realizes this isn't just a door. It's a high-tier barrier gatekeeping something major. Lauren, zero patience as usual, tries to brute force it by throwing hands. Zero damage. The glowing orb claps back at Lauren's aggro, blaming dragons for ruining their cave. Ellison tells her to chill because it is not that simple. He spots dragon magic on the door. Brute force won't work. Lauren, being a total hothead, just wants to find another red dragon and smash its head to bypass the lock. But Ellison is like, nah, let me cook. He has a peaceful way to hack this. We just need to be patient and let him work. Instead of forcing it, Ellison plays it cool and starts asking questions. He asks the voice how long they have been sealed. Turns out, it has been a year. Ellison notes that explains their food shortage. But the voice is sus, asking why trust him. Are you the red dragon's minion? That instantly triggers Lauren, who furiously claps back that they are nothing like that. Elysian mutes her, telling her to chill. He plays it cool, telling the voice that he gets their paranoia and just wanted to help. With the door locked, he pivots. Time to cook. He stacks rocks and sparks a magic fire. Lauren is totally side-eyeing him, but he's like, we're stuck, so let's eat. Behind the door, the starving captives smell the sizzling sausages and they instantly lose their minds. They ask what he's doing. Ellison casually shrugs. Just prepping for the trip back. That triggers them. They scream, why cook in front of starving people? Ellison, completely unbothered, replies, going back for food is a total drag. Eating here is just way easier. Lauren gets the memo and pulls out a string of sausages. As the sizzling aroma hits, they grab the meat, crack open cold ones, and toast to their hard work. Pure main character energy. That did it. The door creaks, and the dwarf boss steps out, baited by the smell. Ellison smirks. His plan worked perfectly. But as the door swings wide, things get real dark. Behind him are these emaciated, starving dwarfs. The second they spot the sausages, the entire squad completely loses their minds. Seeing them down bad, Ellison tells them to chill and just vibe with the food. One old white-bearded dwarf takes a bite of sausage and literally tears up. It hits that deep. Another yells that this banger needs beer. Ellison knows giving booze to starving folks is usually a major L, but dwarves are built different. One cup won't wreck them. Their wary chief asks if it is actually that good. Ellison just smiles and says, it is next level. The chief busts out laughing, admitting that after a feast like this, they owe Ellison big time. Ellison, playing it cool, shares his sausages before casually dropping Geltzar's name. The chief instantly loses his chill, demanding how he knows the dwarf. Ellison explains they're already acquainted and he needs a quick chat. Realizing Ellison has some major clout, the chief agrees to guide him. They head deep down into the sketchy, twisting underground mines where the surviving dwarf settlement is now hidden. Barely 20 or 30 survivors are left down here. Walking through, Ellison is shook seeing how a once legendary clan got so down bad. They finally pull up to a tent and the chief announces him. Inside, Geltzar, silver-haired and long-bearded, welcomes him, instantly recognizing his old friend. Even in this miserable dump, Geltzar radiates main character energy, wise and totally unfazed. He hates that they must meet under such grim vibes, then locks eyes with Lauren, instantly clocking what she really is. He asks if she's the goat. Flattered, Lauren flexes with her usual main character energy. Ellison skips the small talk, asking directly how this thriving dwarven mind got completely wrecked. Geltzar hesitates, visibly hurting from the painful memory, but finally spills the tea. Red dragons. The dwarves fought very hard, but against those beasts they got absolutely no dift. Only a few survived, hiding underground to guard their last hope. Sensing major cap, Ellison presses. How many dragons actually attacked? Geltzar drops the bomb. It was a whole squad. Suspicion is instantly confirmed. Those door marks were a coordinated raid, which raises a way worse question. Who led them? What kind of boss-level threat forces dragons to actually team up? While Ellison processes this, Geltzar hits a hidden switch under the table. A bookshelf slides open, revealing a secret passage into a hidden chamber. Geltzar explains the dwarves didn't survive dragon attacks by pure luck. They had a secret guardian. He pulls out a glowing blue gem, lighting up the room to reveal something truly massive, a giant dragon skeleton. Geltzar introduces Killart, the noble golden dragon and dwarf protector. Ellison is left absolutely shook. Judging by those massive remains, this absolute unit lived for over 500 years. That sacrifice hits different. Geltzar explains they never paid him any tribute. Killart was just a real one, protecting, teaching, and helping them survive out of pure, wholesome kindness. But even a beast that OP couldn't dodge Father Time forever. Elison and Lauren are left completely shook. Then Geltzar drops the real lore. The Red Dragons are hunting an ancient, super magical orb that spawns a literal Dragon Lord. Dwarves gatekept this relic for generations, with Killart as its main guardian. A Dragon Lord commands the entire species. If they unite under one boss, they will become an unstoppable, unrivaled threat. Back then, that Lord could literally delete the world on command. Only a legendary dragon drops these ancient essences, which is why Killart gatekept it from villains. But he still has no clue how many essences it takes to fully wake the Dragon Lord. Hearing Geltzar, Lauren loses it. His words hit different, triggering core memories of her mom comforting her back when she was just a baby dragon. Suddenly, she is crying real tears. Seeing her break down, Ellison instantly pulls her in to comfort her. Sobbing, Lauren drops the ultimate lore. It takes 3 essences to awaken a Dragon Lord to rule the world. The dwarf chief apologizes for triggering her trauma. He admits he and Killart tried to destroy the essence back then, but it was literally indestructible. That is when Ellison drops a massive truth bomb that leaves Geltzar completely shook. Since he and Lauren are building a lair near Greek City, he invites the dwarves to set up their new base there. Honestly, Lauren has 0 plans to spawn a Dragon Lord, so staying here means endless raids. Facts. Geltzar hesitates, but Ellison keeps it chill, saying there is absolutely no pressure. The choice is theirs. Checking in, Ellison asks Lauren if she is doing all right. She nods, then quietly asks, "Should we grab the ancient essence too?" Ellison says he rigged a magic trap, just in case. Plus, he gets why the dwarves cannot just dip when this place holds so many core memories. As they head out, another dwarf approaches Geltzar, who hands over the leftover food. He notes the others are already feasting, because that aroma is a total cheat code. Seeing his people finally eat good after ages, Geltzar's eyes light up, triggering a major flashback. Back then, Killart called him over, asking if this place felt cramped and low-key dark. But Geltzar was like, maybe for a dragon, but we dwarves are chillin'. Killart warned him to bounce eventually. The dwarves were only stuck there because of the essence. Once he passed, other dragons would pull up for it, since Killart's own power was hiding it. The chief protested, refusing to abandon him, but the golden dragon got dead serious. He told Geltzar to bounce, letting the next gen live freely, clinging to dead wishes while sacrificing the living? Major L. Now, that memory hits different. Killart never expected him to gatekeep the essence forever anyway. Watching his people vibe, eat, and actually live, he realizes holding on too long has cost them everything. Meanwhile, Ellison and Lauren press on, but the dwarves block them. Plot twist? They have already packed their bags and are ready to roll. They agree to build Lauren's lair, then pull up to Greek City to start construction. Ellison worries if the dwarves are fit to grind so soon, but the chief shrugs it off because they are built different. Classic dwarf move, he demands more sausages, and Ellison happily delivers. Next, the chief hands Ellison the ancient essence, trusting him with the legendary gem and the entire future of their own clan. Lauren tells Ellison to just absorb it, giving him major "is she for real" vibes. Instead, he keeps using it, which Lauren absolutely hates. She warns him a new Dragon Lord is a hard no, and Ellison is like, "I got a plan, trust." Meanwhile, Serena, the Crimson Dragon, is crying after getting absolutely folded by them. Sensing someone approaching, she hopes it is Guard, but plot twist, it is Ellison and Lauren pulling up on her again. Ellison playfully calls out Serena's cap. She claims she never took tributes, yet she's flexing this rare treasure? Showing her the essence, he presses for more tea. Serena panics, swearing she's already spilled everything. Ellison then asks about Gilead. Was he your low-key situationship? You clearly didn't raid the dwarves together. Blushing, Serena admits it's true. She was actually dating that dragon and totally mistook Ellison for her own ex-boyfriend instead. She clarifies she never saw any dragon gang since she only spawned there 6 months ago. When Ellison asks about her horde, she insists she never took tributes. Then she lifts her spell, revealing the treasure was just a cheap illusion. Sobbing, she tells them to take whatever. That's when Ellison realizes this poor dragon was low-key framed for everything. and she's actually taking the fall for everyone else's crimes. Cut back to Ellison's diner as new guests Alina and Mint roll up. Spotting Mint's crutches, Ellison asks about his injured leg. Mint hypes Alina's effort, but she instantly passes the vibe check, claiming Mint's own grind carried his rehab. Still, Ellison praises Alina anyway, instantly making Lauren low-key salty. When asked about her new clinic, Alina says everything is running smoothly. But Ellison is highly skeptical, secretly suspecting that Rain is actually pulling strings behind the scenes to make it all happen for her. Before he can overthink, the dwarf chief interrupts, asking if there's any leftover stew from last time. Elena freezes, seeing a literal dwarf, and immediately asks Ellison if he actually let dwarves dig under his land. Cue the chaotic arguing. Then Creston walks in, demanding to know why the restaurant was closed yesterday. With a dwarf, an elf, and Creston creating peak chaos, Ellison realizes there's only one real fix. A restaurant's gotta serve food. So he hits the kitchen, and soon everyone is eating happily, especially Mint, who low-key missed Ellison's pizza way more than he would ever care to admit. While everyone's digging in, Ellison casually asks them if they want seconds. Suddenly, he spots Dion outside the window, frantically waving him over. Ellison steps out, and a visibly shaken Dion drops a heavy question. "Can you whip up a dessert to make my mom smile again?" Ellison says bet. By the next morning, he's already flexing in Dion's massive mansion kitchen. Dion says he has all the goods ready, but to holler if he needs anything else. Peeping the ingredients, Ellison is totally shook. The Count is flexing insanely rare spices that are basically impossible to find anywhere else. Meanwhile, the head chef is standing there sweating bullets, completely stressed by the boss unexpectedly invading his kitchen. Ellison gives the green light, instantly easing Dion's anxiety. But post-dinner, the vibe check fails hard, and things go downhill way faster than he expected. Lady Berna won't even touch the dessert. Honestly, leaving him on red like this hurts way worse than a harsh rejection. He asks Dion when she quit sweets. Dion says she used to love them, but moving to Greek City changed her. She went totally strict, stressing their dad out. Suddenly, a flashback hits. Young Dion with family. Dad tells Mom to chill on their son, but she's like, "I'm just teaching him noble etiquette." Little Dion asks, "Is that why you stopped smiling?" He points out she low-key stopped speaking her mind since moving here, urging her to just vibe because this is her home now. While Dad speaks, Mom suddenly realizes she accidentally inhaled her entire dessert. Seeing this, the Count warmly promises that even if war ruins the sugar supply, he will always secure her favorite sweet treats, no cap. Dayon wraps the memory, telling Ellison that's how he learned his mom had a major sweet tooth. His dad kept desserts coming just to secure her smile. It worked. She finally smiled for real. Then, a new memory hits. Dayon walks down the hall when shouting erupts. Someone is screaming at his mom for failing to produce an heir after 5 years. Next second, that guy storms out, slamming the door. His mom steps up, telling him it's all good. She keeps teaching him etiquette, but her vibe gets softer, warmer. Slowly, they actually start feeling like a real family, especially with her smiling again. Cut to another day. They're in the kitchen baking. His bread is a total win, but she's failing so hard it's sending him. Seeing her messy, he comforts her, saying the effort is what counts. Suddenly, servants burst in with devastating news. His dad collapsed from some weird, untreatable illness. Dion is sobbing, but his mom's face? Zero panic, just pure, crushing disappointment. That absolutely shook him. After that day, she completely quits eating desserts. Worse, she starts ghosting him, pulling the strings from the shadows and only sending cold orders through the servants. She won't even speak to him anymore. It's a total nightmare. That's why he ran to Ellison's place. Dion finally cracks, admitting his real wish, just vibing and eating with family again, though it feels light years away now. Leaving Dion's, Ellison heads back, deep in thought about everything, especially the Countess's sus behavior. Makes zero sense. If he's controlling Dion's life but keeping him at arm's length, if it's just because he's not her real son, why was she so warm at first? Then Ellison freezes. The truth hits him all at once. Guilt. That's what's been warping her this whole time. He barges in on Lauren, who quickly hides her beer. Zero context given, he abruptly asks, if someone faints and another drops dessert forever, what does that even mean for them? Lauren looks at him like he's completely lost his mind, calling him straight up drunk. Meanwhile, at the Grand Estate, Lady Berna tends to her sick husband until she's called away for Count Dedrin's sudden arrival. The very second she dips, Ellison and Lauren sneak inside to inspect the bedridden Count. Ellison wonders if he's past saving. Lauren claims that's above her pay grade. He asks for the cause, but she says that ship has sailed, demanding his real motive. Rummaging through drawers, Ellison replies he's here to expose Lady Berna's true agenda. During the search, he spots the Count low-key staring, clearly trying to signal them. Following his gaze, they find a piano and uncover hidden docks inside. The tea is absolutely wild. Records prove Lady Berna was pocketing not just taxes, but Greek City's resources too. Then Ellison spots the compiler's name, and his face instantly goes dead cold. He immediately sends Lauren to the imperial capital to fetch someone ASAP. Meanwhile, Lady Berna meets her dad, Count Dedrin, whose fake smile is pure poison. Soon after, Ellison crashes Dion's room, joking about a random burger delivery, but he is actually there to hand over those top-secret documents. Dion is shook. The documents show Greek City's taxes are literally funding Lord Dedrin. Ellison quickly whispers to pipe down. The man himself is currently inside the house. Dion freezes. Who could have secured receipts like this? Ellison tells him to look closer. That's when the plot twist hits. The one who spilled all the tea in these papers is Lady Berna herself. Confused AF, he asks why she would drop that confession. Ellison then flexes some highly forbidden magic, telling him to follow if he wants the real tea. Meanwhile, Lady Berna coldly asks her dad what he's doing there. Dedrin acts casual, saying he just wanted to see his daughter, but she claps back that they are not close. He drops the tea. Dion welcomed the Crown Prince and Duke Tamarane into Greek City. She tries playing it cool, but Dedrin suddenly snaps. Ice cold, he warns that if Dion is getting too cocky, he'll ruin the son just like he did the father. Her face instantly drops. Furious, she demands he repeat that threat. She screams in rage, but Dedrin is already plotting his next move. A goon grabs her. Lurking nearby, Ellison and Dion overhear everything. Dedrin's ordering the Countess locked underground. Dion instantly panics, wanting to call the royal guards and crash this whole setup, but Ellison stops him cold. Bro, those guards are totally sus. They probably poisoned my own dad for Dedrin in the first place. Desperate, Dion begs Ellison to help him bust them right now. Ellison says catching them is easy, but proving the poisoning is the real challenge. Move now and it is just kidnapping. Use Berna's files and she is totally cooked too. They need to bait Dedrin into a total slip-up. Right then, Lauren rips open a portal, dragging a high-status woman. She announces they now have a VIP with enough clout to get the receipts. Dion just stands there, completely shook. Ellison tells him to let him cook. He has already got a solid plan. Next morning, Dedrin visits his daughter, faking major sympathy before coldly ordering her to pack up. She screams at him to leave Dion out of this because he already won. Dedrin reminds her that since she has no heir, Dion's successor claim is locked in. His real plot? Poisoning Dion first. Then he reveals he already served him breakfast. The clock is already ticking. Seeing Dion wrecked just like his dad completely breaks her. She loses it, sobbing and screaming how sharing blood with a monster like Dedrin makes her sick, all while begging Dion to wake up. Right then, a servant brings in the receipts Ellison and Dion found. Hard proof to finally cancel Dedrin. Peeping the files, Dedrin smirks, calling her his true daughter. But instead of being proud, he burns the evidence and plots a twisted narrative. She went crazy from grief, unalived them, and tried to end herself. First step in his master plan? Target Dion. But plot twist, that armored guard standing behind him isn't his ally. It's Ellison undercover. Before Dedrin can even move, a magic shield blocks his attack instantly. Then, Chief Magician Madrina pulls up, openly exposing Dedrin for attempted murder. Dion drops the act, deadpan. It's overblow. Seeing her son alive and well, the Countess is literally crying tears of joy. Meanwhile, Dedrin is shaking in his boots because the tables have totally turned. Madrina tells him to take the L and submit to the imperial order. But he quickly tries to gaslight everyone, claiming his dagger was just for protection and simply slipped out. Madrina, totally expecting this exact cap, brings out the poisoned breakfast meant for Dion. She calmly tells him to eat it to prove prove his innocence. Terrified, he hesitates, reaches for the plate, and then suddenly just yeets it far away. Cornered, he tries to drag his own daughter down, exposing her for embezzling Greek City's taxes. But that flop backfires when Dion pulls up with the literal ashes of the evidence, proving Dedran has zero receipts to pin this on his mom. Madrina then eyes the bystander soldiers, asking if they're just gonna watch. They claim they're just following the Count's orders. Savage, she replies, no one is above imperial law, and a basic Count just crossed the line. She deletes one on the spot, ordering her guards to arrest Dedran's squad. Seeing his plans crash and burn, Dedran completely loses it, screaming at Dion. Instantly, his whole squad gets locked up. With the threat neutralized, Ellison unties Lady Berna. She demands answers about his identity, but Dion steps in. Honestly, she only cares if Dion is hurt. He shrugs it off, sits close, and drops the question he's been holding forever. Why can't she look him in the eyes? With nothing left to hide, she finally spills everything. Her heavy guilt, the family drama, and the shame making her feel unredeemable. But Dion shuts that down real quick. He tells her straight up. She has zero reason to apologize because none of this is on her. Dedran is the real villain. For once, he gets mad, saying instead of leaving sneaky clues, she should have trusted them. They always had her back. That finally breaks her walls. She pulls him close, promising no more secrets ever again. Elsewhere, Dedran is throwing a massive tantrum at his guards, screaming they don't know him like that and vowing to end them. Then, Ellison blocks his path. Dedran asks if he's some budget palace mage, but Ellison shuts him down. He calls out Dedran's greed for trying to grab Greek City when he already had a whole empire. As punishment, Ellison literally wrecks the castle, forcing him to watch his life's work crumble. Meanwhile, Dion and his squad are outside, prepping a sweet dessert bouquet. Everyone is stunned by this massive dessert flex, but the vibe check fails when Madrina points at Dedran's turf. Up there, his castle floats for a hot second before Ellison literally deletes it. Dedran screams as his home goes poof. Ellison casually says, "Just giving you fireworks, bro. You won't see this light show again." Meanwhile, Dion asks Lady Berna how she likes the fireworks show. Stuffing her face with cake, she cries happy tears. Best banquet ever, no cap! Around them, everyone is just vibing and eating delicious sweets. Night falls. Lady Berna chills alone, looking peaceful, enjoying dessert for once. She admits this castle was a total prison, but now it's finally shattered. Feeding her husband, she gently comforts him about Dion, promising she won't hide anymore. That promise makes him smile. After that, she tells him there is something she really should have said to him a lot earlier. Holding his hand, she confesses her love. Outside, Dion overhears everything, low-key smiling to himself. Far from that warmth, Dedran gets pelted with stones by his own people, absolutely humiliated, forced to watch his land and pride get completely wrecked. Meanwhile, Darian tells Ellison they bagged all the spies, warning him not to slack just yet. Ellison thanks him, then apologizes for snatching Madrina in the middle of the night. Darian says Duke Tamarin was shook at first, but went quiet, realizing it was all Ellison's big brain move. Maybe he wants to come see the drama unfold IRL, he notes. Darian is low-key amazed by how insanely OP Ellison has gotten. Oblivious to all the hype, Ellison just hopes Greek City finally gets some peace. But the very next day, peace is literally just rain. Lauren immediately starts complaining about her fresh laundry, and Milteen's daily grind gets totally ruined too. Tired of their yapping, Ellison shuts down, banning outdoor work. When they protest, he pivots them to indoor chores. He then towels Lauren off so she won't catch a cold, leaving Milteen and Mint standing there holding towels, totally lost and confused. This awkward vibe check gets interrupted when Bynum walks in, craving comfort food. Ellison serves him hot chicken knife-cut noodle soup. Bannon calls him out for saying he was done serving chicken. Ellison shrugs, explaining that since everyone's buying from Creston now, he had to bring the menu back. He asks how Bannon's orchard is surviving this crazy rain. Bannon jokes that Ellison is praying for its downfall, especially after that insane, overpriced offer he made back then. Ellison admits he'd hate an easy win, and they share a laugh. Bannon adds that babysitting trees won't stop the rain anyway. He takes a sip, totally satisfied. Worth the trip. Lauren gets salty when Ellison stops drying her hair halfway. He just says he has a guest now, pouring Benin a drink. Peeping their weirdly cute vibe, Benin asks if Ellison has ever made a choice so bad he wishes he could hit undo. Ellison freezes. Seeing his face, Benin shrugs. Guess not. Honestly, I can easily tell just by how you treat your wife. Ellison instantly claps back, clarifying Lauren is not his wife. Looking strangely peaceful, Benin talks about Miel, his first love who has lived rent-free in his mind for 30 years. Nobody else ever compared. Curious, Ellison asks if he ever confessed. Benin sighs, admitting he never did, because he always assumed they would naturally become endgame after so long. But when she brought up marriage, he finally planned to shoot his shot on a scenic date. He never could. That day, the dragons attacked. Ellison face falls. He realizes this was exactly when he got isekai'd and the dragon war popped off. Benin admits that in that exact moment, he folded and ran like a total coward. Ghosted for 15 years, he finally spots her in the city. That missed connection lives rent-free in his head. Too scared to face her, he went full hermit. But the longing is still real. He warns Ellison to treat his girl right, avoiding lifetime regret. But before Benin dips, Ellison corrects him again. Lauren isn't his wife. Come nightfall, Ellison still thinks about Benin. Bro held on to love for 15 human years, basically a century and a half in dragon years. Next day, Ellison asks Rain about her new bestie, Miel. Rain says Miel just opened a repair shop, but she's going through it. The tea? Rain drops a bomb. Miel has the exact same regret as Benin. Shook, Ellison asks what they talked about. Rain says when they met, Miel asked why Rain didn't recognize her. Rain said she and her hubby just moved here. Then Miel spilled the tea. She had it bad for someone, but when it was time to confess, she chickened out. Word is, 15 years ago, he showed up with flowers. Plot twist, Ellison drops a truth bomb. It was Benin. He spills Benin's tea to Rain, and the tragic truth hits them hard. Both Benin and Mila showed up, but a dragon attack crashed it. They fled, thinking they got ghosted. For 15 years, they carried that trauma solo. Now, Ellison and Rain are just straight up devastated by this sad realization. Rain says Mile ghosted every arranged marriage after that. Ellison listens, totally unfazed, and cooks up a plan, telling Rain to drop Mile a DM. Later, Ellison pulls up to Banan's orchard, handing him a magnifying glass, since Mile's eyesight is cooked, offering to tweak it if it strains her eyes. Banan is shook by the detail, but before he can process, Ellison tells him to hit up Greek City's outskirts, the exact spot from 15 years ago. She's waiting. Shook, Banan asks what he means. Ellison pulls it off. Fumbling once is human, but holding that L for 15 years? That's wild. And deep down, Banan knows it. Still, he pulls up anyway, drowning in doubt but needing to see her. Then he spots her by the tree. She turns, locks eyes, and instantly knows him. For a second, they just freeze, completely crushed by the weight of 15 lost years. Miel speaks first, admitting she has been holding something in since that day. Bannon is like, same here. Then, plot twist. They both blurt out the exact same confession at once. I ran away 15 years ago. They freeze, totally shook, before cracking up. Up on the hill, Rain and Ellison watch them, low-key relieved that the massive misunderstanding that has been living rent-free in their heads is finally over now. Rain asks why he didn't just spill the tea. Ellison says some knots must be untied by those trapped inside. Still, it hits different knowing they suffered 15 years over a basic misunderstanding. But hey, at least they are walking back hand in hand. Days later, Benin pulls up to the restaurant and finally sells Ellison his orchard. Ellison secures them a massive bag. With that cash, Banan and Miel buy a prime Greek City house, get married, and finally leave all their regrets behind. Ellison's winning too, bagging land for his dwarf squad. Lauren's totally chill with the dwarves in her lair, but she is low-key mad Ellison's still squatting at the restaurant when her place is huge. Seeing her annoyed pout, Ellison remembers Banan's advice and promises to move in once construction wraps up. That answer hits Lauren like pure serotonin, and she instantly beams. Ellison doubles down, teasing a direct secret passage from the lair to the restaurant. Now Lauren is officially hyped for this lair. Later, she sits with the dwarf chief. He proudly reports the lair is 70% done, promising they will finish before next year arrives. Ellison serves them food while they talk about building on this crazy scale. The dwarf chief says they are forever in his debt for the land and their new village. Inside, the restaurant is straight up vibing, with everyone eating good and laughing. But as night falls, two sketchy, exhausted figures roll up. It is the Vagabond brothers, Linked and Mate. Hooked by the insane food smells, they knock on the front door, begging him for some work.
They said they saw the ranch hiring flyer. Ellison bluntly drops that he threw it out, and they instantly look shook. Seeing them panic, he softens, saying extra hands actually wouldn't hurt. He tells them to sit, grab a bite, and talk. Since it is freezing, Ellison starts whipping up some warm comfort food, beginning with some pork. In another pot, he whips up a legit stew, hitting it with that MSG upgrade. Soon, the pork stew is ready. The brothers hesitate at first, but Ellison reassures them there are tons of leftovers, so they finally dig in. One bite, and they're absolutely shook. Tender meat, rich broth, pure warmth. They look genuinely happy. They thank him sincerely, calling it the absolute best meal they have ever had. Ellison warns them to slow down, guessing they were already starving. He asks why they want this ranch gig. Mate claims they vibe with animals and are hard workers, despite having zero ranching experience. Ellison locks eyes with Elena, asking for her vibe check. Elena replies that yes, they are indeed determined, but they are definitely hiding something. Ellison demands they show their wrists. Cornered, they comply. Seeing the shackle scars, the room's vibe instantly dies. Mate desperately blurts out they were locked up, but only because he took the fall for his bro. Apologizing for the cap, he stands, knowing he's cooked. As he turns to leave, Lint tries to stop him, arguing these folks are chill enough to actually listen if they just explain. But Mate is totally over it. To him, a crime is a crime, no excuses, zero regrets. He's literally about to bounce when Lindsay's voice freezes him. Why leave without finishing the food? Inside, Lauren asks Ellison why he just ghosted the brothers like that. Ellison knows they've got lore, but they're not ready to spill, and pushing won't help. Running low on spice with business booming, he decides to spam summoning magic again. Instantly, the recoil hits hard. Lauren panics, clearly worried. Ellison admits he totally ignored his glitching mana until adopting Lord Heart, but now he can't even channel properly. Suddenly, his magic goes completely wild. Before he can recover, he hits the floor, a dark realization washing over him. Even if he's totally cooked, his only final desperate thought is that he still needs Lauren right there by his side. Waking up, he sees Lauren crying, asking if he's okay. He plays it off, blaming mana depletion. She is totally lost. Isn't this man literally a legendary Ninth Circle Archmage? He reassures her, so she promises to do absolutely anything for him. His big request? Cook me some food. She instantly screams in outrage because she has zero kitchen skills. Meanwhile, cut to the brothers outside in the freezing night, shivering while desperately trying to find a side hustle for some cash. Blacklisted everywhere for their criminal past, nobody wants them. One grumbles that prison was low-key warmer. Later, they are sharing stolen scraps when a stray cat growls. Even animals are fighting them for food. Mate checks a dumpster, hoping for leftovers. That is when a shady boss and his lackeys step out of the shadows and spot them. Fresh out of the slammer, the brothers instantly spot their op. Supervisor Rotunda is still on their case. Mate is ready to throw hands, admitting he messed up, but Lynn stops him. Bro, don't repeat that disaster from 2 years ago. Cue the flashback. Back then, Rotunda was a toxic construction boss power-tripping on a helpless woman whose husband worked for him. Suddenly, the bros crash the chat with emergency news. Section 3 collapsed and someone got hurt. The wife panicked, running out to check on her man. Rotunda, salty as prey escaped, blamed the crew. Mate clapped back, saying they followed the blueprint. Then, the bros did something insanely risky. They accused Rotunda himself, claiming his trash materials actually caused the whole disaster. That triggered him. He beat them to a pulp, reminding them he saved their orphan lives. Then he fired them, docked their pay for damages, and said they would owe him forever. Lynn begged for mercy,
But Rotunda went full creep mode, suggesting Lin could sell himself to some rich noble's bed for cash. That was the exact moment Mate absolutely snapped.
Mate absolutely wrecked Rotunda, easily bypassing his lackeys to leave him half dead. Now Lint is trying to chill him out. Dude is always choosing violence, but they seriously need to find a safe house. Meanwhile, a salty Rotunda wants revenge, ordering his goons to drag the brothers out. But his minion warns him, starting beef without Dedrin is a major L. But Rotunda just slaps the guy, flexing that he does what he wants, no protection needed. Mid-tantrum, he spots Elena heading to Ellison's diner. Instantly, a devious new plan starts cooking in his head. He orders his goons to check for any witnesses nearby. Meanwhile, Ellison inspects the ancient marble, realizing this sus artifact is why he's been collapsing. He already absorbed its dark power. He never really wanted to go this far, but with his mana completely drained, he's forced to absorb even more, despite the nasty side effects. Still, he needs to start the process ASAP. This kind of power takes forever to fully digest. For now, he's holding off, waiting for Lauren to bring him some food. He thought she had cooking on lock after years by his side, but the sketchy noises from the kitchen suggest he might actually starve first. Inside, Lauren is literally crying, staring at the absolute burnt disaster she made for Ellison. Panicking that her cooking might actually kill him first, she wants to do right by him. Swallowing her pride, she decides she must go find Alina. But with Alina's scent totally gone, she low-key loses it and almost kidnaps a random chef for Ellison instead. Then reality hits hard. She's always riding other people's coattails. No healing magic, zero cooking skills. When Ellison actually needs her, she's completely useless on her own. His words hit different now. Even a dragon can't solo this world. That truth gives her chills. It is brutally personal. Meanwhile, some disgusting creep from Rotunda's squad grabs Elena, thirsting over her elf status and bragging about visiting her clinic. He demands Lint and Mate's location, threatening to end her if she doesn't cooperate. He assumes she doesn't even know those two ex-con brothers, but Elena calmly looks him dead in the eye and says, "Actually, I do." No cap, she instantly sparks her magic, refusing to spill any tea. He charges, totally triggered, but Mate suddenly spawns and throws hands, catching him clean. No more lurking in the shadows. Mate apologizes to his bro for stealing his spotlight, while Lint is already grabbing a stick, ready to scrap. Mate jokes, well, at least the smoke from this beef will keep us warm all winter long. Alina asks why they returned, but Lint yells at her to run. This beef is personal. Mate is fuming because Rotunda dragged an innocent bystander into this. But Rotunda's chilling, claiming they're all cooked anyway. Turns out he hired Roman, a brutal Greek city gang boss, to delete the brothers. Now, Roman is here to teach them a lesson. Meanwhile, Lauren pulls up on Rain, demanding Alina's clinic location. Outside, Nate is throwing hands with Roman, but he's getting absolutely diffed. It's not even close. Lint tries to back his brother up, but Roman instantly grabs him by the throat, shutting him down completely. Seeing his brother helpless in that grip, Lint begs for mercy. Rotunda just smirks, hyping up Roman's insane battlefield experience. He was always going to be a literal final boss. Roman asks if he should keep throwing hands. Rotunda wants the younger bro alive, but tells Roman to track the elf. This gets Mate pressed, making him crash out and lunge at Roman again. Meanwhile, Alina heals a busted wrist, but Mate is spiraling. He is not the type to just stand by and watch this cruelty, yet Roman's power diff is just too insane. He wonders, if he had just stayed quiet 2 years ago, would things be different now? Just when hope is dead, Lauren pulls up, tracking Alina's scent, begging for help. Alina's like, I'm literally out of commission. But Roman senses Lauren is built different. He nopes out instantly, ditching both brothers there. Alina immediately steps in to heal them. Shook by the sudden vibe shift, Rotunda orders his goons to grab Lauren, but they just panic and scatter. So he tries to take charge. He grabs Lauren to sell her, but she instantly vanishes and rips his arm clean off. Everyone is left shook. Lauren runs straight to Alina, begging for help because Ellison's condition is way too critical. Later, Alina is seen healing Ellison, completely draining her own energy in the process. Ellison thanks both Elena and Lauren for the clutch save, while Lauren is literally glued to his side the entire time. Elena's completely drained of her mana from fixing his massive mess. Lauren, still low-key jealous but softening up, actually thanks Elena.
Ellison and Alina are absolutely shook by this sudden plot twist. Lauren immediately backtracks, capping that she was just being emotional, not actually trying to be nice at all. Ellison calls the bros inside. Mate thanks them for the save, but Ellison flips the script. He's the one grateful because they clutched up for Alina. Lint explains she got caught in the crossfire of Rotonda's beef with them. Ellison tells them not to carry the guilt of someone else's villain arc. But then, why'd they keep him out of the loop? Mate says he wants to atone. Ellison asks if they have a place to crash. Their faces say it all, so he flashes a gold coin, enough for a month's rent. Mate is confused, but Ellison says they start ranch work tomorrow. Mate reminds him they are still literal criminals. But Ellison cuts him off. To him, their debt is already paid, and he knows exactly who the real villain is. Overwhelmed with pure gratitude, the brothers start calling him Big Bro, but Ellison quickly says he prefers manager. The next day, they start working at the ranch. Calling Miltine Sr. secretly boosts her ego, so she welcomes them warmly. Mint, however, has absolutely zero chill about this. First, he spots those nasty shackle bruises on their wrists. He straight up admits that even with Ellison's green light, he's not trusting them yet. But his promise to absolutely wreck Rotanda gets a smirk out of Mate. Meanwhile, Ellison's grinding with the ancient marble, relieved his mana is finally stabilizing. The clock is ticking, with only days left. Then his focus shifts back to Lauren, who's acting sus. Watching her spy on the guests, he asks what's up. Honestly, his diner is low-key packed with random NPCs now, and he has zero clue what's going on in Lauren's head either. Turns out she's just staring at girls flexing heavy jewelry, wondering why they even bother. Ellison's like, it's simple. Aesthetics. Just like how dragons hoard shiny treasure in their own lairs. No cap. Lauren sighs, admitting her mom's lair was never this extra. Ellison asks if she wants some shiny drip too. Watching Neil get iced out by Benin, Lauren confesses she is feeling majorly conflicted. Before they can deep dive, Dion interrupts them with some massive news. Once seated, Dion reveals Rotanda got busted for his crimes because his own loyal squad snitched and testified against him. He drops the lore that Dedran was his only real Day One backer. Dion looks totally drained, though. Just when things chill, another of the Count's dusty minions spawns out of nowhere, handing him a burger. Ellison hypes him up for carrying the team. Dion asks if Ellison is free in 3 days. Ellison says bet for his sake. Then Ellison whispers some secret tea, and Dion instantly locks in, screaming, "I am so down." 3 days later, Ellison faces the dwarf chief in a dark room. The chief starts yapping, but Ellison cuts him off to inspect the loot first. It's handed over, and Ellison instantly rates it a certified 10. In return, he drops a massive crate of sausages and beer, inviting them to join. The chief politely passes, saying they're in the endgame now. Cut to Rain, who is totally hyped to join Ellison's wild restaurant scheme. He begs the ranch crew to pull up. Hearing the chaotic vibes, Lauren steps out, demanding to know what's the move. Ellison thanks the crowd and drops the bomb. Today's event is a game called What Did You Put in My Mouth? The rules are simple. Get blindfolded, taste some mystery food, and guess right to bag the grand prize. Mint immediately points at Miltine, nominating her to take the first bite. She hesitates, low-key doubting if this mystery item legally qualifies as food. Ellison claims his cooking is always edible, depending on how generous your vibes are. He blindfolds her, popping a warm, squishy thing into her mouth. The texture is so bizarre, she just gives up guessing. Turns out it's a marshmallow. Ellison explains it's a treat from a whole different world. Miltine admits she likes the taste, but eating blindfolded sweets feels low-key cursed. Next, Creston walks in, flexing major main character energy, only to get instantly clowned after failing to recognize a basic red chili pepper. Ellison is literally living his absolute best life right now. He blindfolds Lauren, warning her, no magic hacks allowed. He feeds her, and her face immediately goes super sour as she starts overanalyzing it. She nails the guess. Cake! Blindfold off, and the whole crowd goes wild. Ellison looks at her, all soft and sweet, whispering, "Happy birthday." The entire restaurant is literally hyping her up. He laughs, admitting he thought she'd easily sniff out the surprise party, but I guess he gave her brain cells too much credit. Looking around, she asks if they really pulled up just for her birthday. Ellison casually tells Alina she might actually get some thanks, instantly triggering Lauren. She snaps that she is absolutely not thanking him. Ignoring all the salt, Ellison pulls out a small box. "Since you guessed right, here is your special prize." He opens it, revealing a dwarven earring inside.
Lauren casually pierces her ear with magic, pops the earring in, and asks Ellison how it looks. He plays it cool, saying it's fine. But remembering Miel's necklace, Lauren finally gets it. A genuine smile hits her face. She realizes receiving gifts actually feels amazing. No cap, it's beautiful. Next, the quiz resumes. Rain and Mate fail so hard, it's literally free entertainment. Finally, the game wraps up and everyone gathers around the party cake. As the birthday bash winds down, Lauren quietly admits she's never had this many people around. Ellison's like, well, it's your last birthday before adulthood, so it had to hit different. Seeing snowfall, Ellison suggests heading outside. Chilling on the terrace with coffee, they watch the snow, vibing over how crazy it is that a whole year has flown by since they arrived. Ellison notes that while it feels short, for a human, a year is a massive deal. Lauren reminds him he's built different now after absorbing Lord Hart. He shrugs. Absorbing only part of that heart might not even extend his lifespan. Suddenly, a shooting star streaks across the dark sky. Make a wish, Ellison says. Lauren quietly wishes to stay by his side a bit longer, but gatekeeps it when he asks. Seeing her deadpan, serious face, Ellison playfully teases that it's probably something he would want too. Lauren dodges, telling him to make his own wish instead. Meanwhile, inside the Black Dragon Shrine, a furious Nye storms in, confronting his uncle Dehigma on the throne. Nye rants that letting a human run free is a massive L for the clan. Dehigma calmly asks if this is really about Ruin hitting the mark. Nye hesitates, then fesses up. Dehigma instantly calls him out. If he actually cared, he should have treated her right instead of bullying her. Nye claps back, claiming it's not just about his own feelings. The clan lost too many girls in the last war. Peace is on thin ice, and relying on some ancient promise forever is a major L. Dehigma warns him not to sleep on the human, reminding him that breaking oaths completely ruins their rep. Nye fake agrees, smirking because he's already found a loophole. Meanwhile, in the freezing Arctic mountains, Lauren is bundled up so heavily that her face is basically invisible. She asks why they are even here. Ellison, totally hyped, says they are hunting rare mushrooms. Lauren is confused. Mushrooms? Seriously? Ellison explains these bad boys are super rare and worth a literal fortune. Apparently, nomads used pigs to sniff them out and sold them for crazy money. This is his ultimate get-rich scheme. Lauren asks how to sniff them out. Ellison admits these shrooms smell loud, but growing underground makes them low-key impossible to find. He needs her OP dragon radar. Lauren sighs, feeling totally used, but she reluctantly agrees. Suddenly, a wild howl cuts through the air. Up ahead, a goblin pack jumps a giant mutated cat near the cliff. Spears rain down on the trembling beast. It's literally at 1 HP and about to get finished off. Suddenly, a red flash slices its leg, sending it crashing down. Before the goblins can secure the kill, Ellison steps in, conjuring a magic shield. Whatever your beef is, it ends here. But before they can even react, Lauren hits them with a massive side-eye. Their confidence instantly evaporates. They drop their weapons and run for their lives, leaving the shocked, wounded cat behind. Ellison looks at Lauren and jokes, yeah, they definitely weren't running from me. This time, Lauren gets praised but does not flex. She claims she has too much dignity for that. The cat slowly gets up, approaching them with a majorly hostile side-eye. But before they can react, it flops down, wagging its tail. The tough act is completely ruined. Seeing this desperate simp behavior, Ellison instantly remembers Dion begging to be his disciple. Clueless about the cat's yapping, he makes Lauren translate. She reluctantly explains the kitty is giving thanks for the rescue and wants to pay them back. The beast stares at Ellison with major puppy eyes, waiting for his move. Ellison mutters about this repayment thing. Later, chilling at a table watching Cat's vibe, Lauren asks what he even expects from this weird side quest. Ellison says it's just a strategic move, suspecting the cat can find their treasure. Next sec, the cat flexes back with a random pile. A rancid stench hits, and Lauren instantly blocks her nose like, what kind of treasure smells this bad? But Ellison clocks it immediately. It's the exact mushrooms they needed. Meanwhile, in a zone looking more like a war zone than a meetup, a salty Nye pulls up, demanding answers. Then 3 black dragons spawn. Daba, Tall, and Longhair, with New and Havend trailing. Nye's dead set on dragging Lauren back to the sacred land. New, always down to stir the pot, jokes that Nye's giving Major, looking for a mate energy, especially since Lauren's currently rooming with a human mage, Ellison.
Hearing that name, Nye's jaw visibly tightens. He snaps that Lauren's coming back, regardless of any human situationship. Elder Metadonna already greenlit the entire move. They just need a solid excuse to pull up. Daba, actually being the reasonable one, warns him that catching hands with humans is a major treaty violation. That rule literally exists solely to protect human lives, unless a human slayed a dragon, which Ellison definitely didn't do. No matter how cracked he is, he's still just human and totally off limits. Still, Daba is super uneasy. Like, can a human even legit hurt a dragon? Suddenly, a mysterious voice from inside the iron cage cuts them off. Imprisoned red dragon Gyarda offers a major plug, another dragon near Greek City. Meanwhile, Ellison is literally losing his mind over the cat's epic find. The pilot dragged back actual truffles. Lauren thinks they smell totally mid and tries to yeet them, but Ellison swoops in to save the bag. He is already calculating the insane profit. This find is a total game changer, opening up endless possibilities for them. He knows they hit the jackpot. He asks Lauren to translate for the cat again. He is grateful, but cannot take this rare loot for free. These mushrooms are a total game changer. Lauren reluctantly translates. Then, Ellison drops his pitch. The dragon lair needs a guardian, and the cat fits the bill. Lauren instantly objects, snapping that their spot was meant for just them, not some pet. The cat is totally down, bowing deeply to accept. Meanwhile, Serena sits alone in her ghost town, obsessing over the moment Ellison and Lauren crashed her treasure hoard. Her illusion's fake flex got totally exposed. Ellison apologized, but Lauren's pathetic lair roast still hurts. Bored and incredibly salty, Serena decides she might as well troll some humans for entertainment. Suddenly, she senses footsteps approaching. She assumes it's those two coming back to bother her again. Instead, seeing Guard there completely shocks her, instantly triggering her rage. Guard nervously stammers a confession, claiming she is his only true ride or die, and proposing they lock it in forever. That doesn't touch her. It absolutely infuriates her. Instantly, she shifts into her red dragon form, demanding to know when exactly he became so completely delusional and lost his mind. Chapter 2. A trash betrayal has Serena crashing out. She demands to know when Gerda went rogue. Was it ghosting her or raiding villages and kidnapping innocent girls? Honestly, who even cares now? Serena calls him absolute trash, but Gerda just smirks, totally unfazed that his villain arc got exposed. Suddenly, the ceiling caves in. He flexes, claiming his time has come. 3 dragon heads crash through the rubble, ready to rumble. It's an instant ambush. Serena's trapped in her own zone as chaos closes in. Surrounded by 4 enemies, Gallarda smirks, whispering that if she stays quiet, this beatdown stays secret. He casts a spell, snapping a glowing collar onto her neck. Serena screams, but pure rage takes over. She flexes, shattering the restraint with brute force and trashes his weak magic. But before she can clap back, Nay blindsides her with a brutal strike, violet light tearing the air. Meanwhile, in the dwarf village, Geltzar is totally shook by Ellison's massive beast. Ellison drops the lure calmly, immediately pivoting to logistics. Turn down the AC because these cats need that cold climate energy. Lauren instantly calls him out, saying he only brought the beast to sniff out rare truffles. Ellison does not even deny it. Honestly, he is hyped, yapping about how these truffles are a whole different level of flavor. Next thing you know, he throws a massive feast to let everyone finally taste the hype. The reviews are totally mixed. Some think it hits different, while others look personally offended. Lauren loudly screams that it's trash, and even Miltine is visibly gagged. For once, Ellison's main character energy actually wavers. He realizes truffles aren't everyday eats. Guess it's time to gatekeep them and only flex this bougie ingredient on those super special occasions. Back at Serena's lair, things are already spiraling. Clinging to life, she pulls off a clutch teleport at the absolute last second, vanishing before they can finish her. This clean escape leaves them totally shook, cursing her slick getaway. Gallarda stammers, calling it a minor skill issue, but Nu just laughs. It's fine, she can't hide forever. He's already tracked her magical signature straight to Greek City now. The squad debates their next move, realizing Serena cannot just warp to the sacred lands anyway. As a red dragon outsider, that path is completely gatekept for her. Gallarda, usually a hater, feels a tiny bit bad for how lonely she is. But Nu ain't having it, telling the squad to lock in and hunt her down before she heals. Gallarda dips fast to avoid blame.
Meanwhile, Nye is playing chess, planning to frame Ellison the second Serena dies. Then, Serena pulls the ultimate plot twist. She pulls up to Ellison's spot, literally on death's door, yet she walks in serving pure main character energy, sits down, and orders like a regular customer. Ellison is shook by the sheer audacity. Lauren, already pressed, demands to know her game, but Serena ignores the hate, completely locked in on the food before her. She eats slowly, low-key dissecting the flavor. As she chews, she spirals into her own past. Loneliness, toxic situationships, and failed attempts to cure her inner void. She brings up her exes, both humans and dragonkin, admitting she thought she had guys figured out. Now, it's all just cringe, desperate attempts to fill a bottomless pit. Her voice has this eerie finality, like she knows she's already reached her endgame. By the time Ellison and Lauren realize they are cooked, it is already too late. Ellison spots her back wound and sweaty face before she collapses midway, coughing up blood while still hyping his cooking. Pure panic sets in. Lauren drops a truth bomb. Even a dragon should not survive injuries this bad. Then, a red portal rips open outside. Heavy armor clanks. A squad spawns, framing Ellison for slaying a red dragon. Inside, Serena is barely clinging to life. Outside, angry dragons are ready to crash out. Ellison and Lauren instantly realize it is a total setup. He tells Lauren, "Get Serena to Alina, now! It's her only shot!" Lauren nods, asking for the game plan. Ellison stands up, locked in, ready to greet their guests. He tries to keep it civil, offering tea to de-escalate, but that vibe dies instantly. Bent, this dragon, pulls up, crashing the restaurant and throwing magic hands at Ellison. Ellison barely dodges, spotting Serena's blood still on the floor. Lauren doesn't miss a beat. She opens a portal to the clinic and yeets out of there with Serena. Ellison claps back with pure sass, but these intruders are definitely not here to chat. Magic circles light up the room as high-tier spells start spamming. Ellison pivots, his military cloak swishing as his face locks in. He is officially done playing nice. Meanwhile, Nay's squad is giggling in the shadows, totally loving the chaotic mana vibes from afar. Smug Nay brags that everything is going exactly as planned. The Red Dragons are dragged into the drama. His crew is low-key losing it, wondering who played them this hard. Inside the restaurant, a Red Dragon is absolutely fuming, accusing Ellison of hurting their guy. He hurls a massive fireball, but Ellison, completely unfazed, deletes it with a shield, scattering harmless sparks. With a quick flick, he spawns a portal. "Step through," he warns. "Collateral damage isn't the vibe." Meanwhile, Alina is totally shook at her clinic when Lauren bursts in carrying Serena, whose condition is way worse than she ever expected. Elena's shook, but she locks in, instantly spamming healing magic on the dying dragon. Radiant light floods the room as she tries to stop the bleed. Meanwhile, Ellison teleports the dragons to a wasteland, hoping to contain the blast. Bent trolls him, claiming this empty field is his grave. But Ellison is completely unfazed, already connecting all the dots in his mind. He smells a setup. Is he the main target, or are the Red Dragons just NPCs being played by some mastermind? If they're just pawns, maybe they can actually talk this out. He speaks up, telling everyone to chill and use their brains. That blood back at the restaurant, he swears it wasn't his doing. But the Elder Dragon, already brainwashed by Nye's gaslighting, shuts him down, claiming the blood is receipts enough. Ellison still tries to explain. Serena was already hurt, she's alive, and he's just trying to save her. Then Geirda steps up to instigate, lying that Ellison evicted Serena and killed her when she wouldn't leave. Ellison finally realizes Geirda is the mastermind behind this setup, but the other dragons are too triggered to listen. Bryant goes full dragon mode, letting out a terrifying roar as pure rage takes over. Ellison deflects their attacks, asking the real question. If Serena was so precious, why'd they ghost her? They hit back cold, saying he knows zero about dragon law. That's it. He's officially done. Their stubborn, delusional gatekeeping pushes him over the edge. A massive, terrifying wave of aura flexes from him, making Geirda drop down in absolute terror. Just when things are already chaotic, Nye's squad pulls up. Classic Nye, immediately clowning Ellison. Bent demands answers, but Nye plays nice, capping about just wanting to help. But sensing that mana, Ellison clocks him instantly. He knows exactly who he is dealing with now. The vibe of this fight just shifted.
Meanwhile, Nye is itching to humble him. Inside, Elena is hitting her absolute limit. Blood keeps pooling on the floor, and she's so drained she starts whispering apologies, convinced she's failed. But Lauren is absolutely not having it. She transfers her own mana, telling Elena to lock in. Elena is shook because mana shortage is no longer the issue. Outside, the battlefield is cooked. Black dragons join the raid, spamming heavy attacks to lock Ellison down. He parries, but the pressure is getting too real. Golden aura flares as he lifts the earth, bracing for the ultimate clash of power. Nye rallies his squad for a massive team combo, charging up an attack that makes even Ellison sweat. But right before impact, a cold, absolute voice halts the entire field. Suddenly, the sky literally tears open. 4 warp gates spawn, and the elders, including Metadonna and Dedank, step through, completely killing the vibe. The whole energy shifts instantly, leaving everyone utterly shook. Even the crash-out dragons freeze mid-rage. The elders demand to know what kind of mess this is, while Metadonna, looking totally exhausted, dryly notes that Ellison is somehow always at the center of every single disaster. He demands the whole real tea. Relieved but still unbothered, Ellison drops his hood, greeting them with sarcastic respect. Meanwhile, Nye smiles in the shadows. The board is now set exactly how he wanted. Ellison thinks he's safe, assuming the elders will shield him. But Nye only sees a golden opportunity, especially with Lauren standing next to a human, a total disgrace to the clan. This is the exact escalation he wanted, the point of no return. If he convinces the elders Ellison iced Serena, a red dragon, a public execution is totally justified. In Nye's head, everything is lining up perfectly. Too bad Ellison already read his playbook. While Nye drowns in his own hype, Ellison is betting the whole house on Lauren and Alina keeping Serena alive. Down at Alina's clinic, things look absolutely cooked. They're working non-stop just to stabilize her. The bleeding finally stopped, but she is not safe yet. Now Lauren is prepping Alina for something way more dangerous. Bringing up major deja vu, she warns her this next wild move is way more extreme. To save Serena, they must lock in and sink completely. Elena's body literally has to channel dragon tier power, but if she fumbles, it'll shatter her from within. Elena's low-key shook, but Lauren drops a truth bomb. Serena and Ellison's lives are on her now. Trembling but determined, Elena finally says, bet. Sync starts, and the power surge is straight up monstrous. It slams her down, making her feel microscopic against this massive dragon mana. She almost breaks, begging Lauren to dial it back, but Lauren refuses. As a healer, she has to limit break now. Elena locks in, channeling everything into Serena. Blinding light floods the room as she pours her soul into healing, while Lauren hypes Serena up. Fight back! Channel that dragon energy and refuse to die! Back on the field, Nye starts capping to the elders with pure confidence, claiming Ellison attacked Serena and deleted her. Bent points to the restaurant Blood, insisting their clapback was totally valid under the treaty. Gallardo backs him up, claiming he saw Ellison do it, but Metadonna isn't buying it. He turns to Ellison for his own side. Ellison keeps it real. Why would he even cap a dragon? The post-war treaty literally banned all interspecies smoke. He has played by the rules, so he is not starting beef with peaceful ones. Besides, this accusation is straight up cap. Offing a red dragon just because she is a neighbor? Make it make sense. Then he drops the real bomb. The black dragons pulled up way too fast, like they were already camping. Ellison straight up accuses them of cooking up the whole raid. The elders look shook. The entire vibe is shifting. Dedank asks for receipts. Ellison, cool as ice, says he has them. He drops a portal. Serena steps out fully alive, and the entire crowd goes dead silent. Nye is shook, turning completely pale. Ellison hypes Alina for the clutch save. Lauren credits their insane sync, but Ellison still stands Alina's OP healing. Serena then drops the ultimate truth bomb. Nye's squad jumped her, and Ellison's crew saved her. This massive revelation absolutely breaks the entire crowd. Bent instantly apologizes, ready to take his L, but Ellison lets him slide. The Black Dragons, though? They are not getting off that easy. Even the elders are totally shook by Elena and Lauren's OP healing, though Elena is too drained to enjoy the hype. Metadonna turns icy, telling Nye he broke the treaty and ruined the fragile peace between dragons and humans. That should have been it. Nye is absolutely fuming that Ellison is an OP mage flexing with a baddie. Choosing crash-out revenge over survival, he transforms and sneak attacks. Blood splatters everywhere as Ellison instantly reacts, shoving Lauren out of harm's way and tanking the massive blow himself. That hit landed clean. Ellison hits the ground, back shredded, pooling in blood. Dead silent. Lauren is totally frozen, brain short-circuiting. Then her voice breaks. "Why'd you push me? Why is there so much blood?" She completely loses it, sobbing his name. Bent is absolutely fuming, calling out the cheap backstab. Knight just laughs it off, claiming he is the ultimate main character saving Dragonkind. Why even honor a pact when Ellison is too dangerous to be left alive? While he yaps, Elena is already by Ellison's side, her hands shaking as she desperately tries to heal him. But nothing is working. She begs Lauren to sync up again, just like they did for Serena. But Lauren's frozen, crying, staring at her bloody hands. Nye mocks them, saying it's useless because Ellison's case is totally different. Watching, Serena lets out a sharp, bitter laugh, cutting the panic. She calls Nye a coward, saying this is not his first backstab. Then she barks at Lauren to stop crying and actually look. Lauren looks. No cap, Ellison's wound is healing crazy fast, his power surging. Serena's words snap her back to reality. Hope sparks in her eyes as Ellison finally stirs. He is back. Gently wiping Lauren's tears, he whispers for her not to cry. Suddenly, a blinding blue light erupts from Ellison, flexing pure main character energy. Above them, the ancient marble glows, radiating insane power. Metadonna's face goes dead serious. She instantly recognizes this absolute cheat code of a power. As the light fades, Ellison stands, flexing glowing wings. He casually tells Nye that the ancient essence tanked his ultimate, saving his life. Absolutely livid, Nye goes full beast mode. His body swells, scales gleam, and massive power surges for one final erasing blow. He is dead set on wiping Ellison completely off the map. Ellison doesn't even blink, blocking that attack like it's literally nothing. Calmly, he reminds Nye of the peace treaty banning dragons from harming any other races. With a smirk, he dares Nye to explain himself. And then, the sky answers for him. Flaming meteors rain down, turning the battlefield into a literal hellscape. The ground is shaking. Nabby is shook, stammering how any human can flex this cheat code power. The flames swallow him whole. When they fade, he is just straight up ashes. His squad stands silent, instant regret hitting them way too late. Elison's cold gaze melts as he turns to Lauren. Gently holding her hand, he whispers it's time to go home. Shaking, Lauren throws herself into his arms, crying her eyes out. Finally, Metadonna steps up to deliver absolute judgment. Nye's accomplices get locked up for 3 millennia in the Forbidden Grounds. Serena gets compensated too. Her wrecked lair is restored and loaded with treasure. Later, Lauren gives Ellison the cold shoulder. He cautiously asks what's wrong. Without turning, she calls him out for a reckless, stupid risk that almost broke her. Ellison listens, pulls her in for a soft hug, apologizing and promising to do better. Total wholesome vibe. But Metadonna suddenly spawns out of nowhere, ruining the moment. Both of them jump, feeling completely shook. Zero hesitation. Lauren straight up decks the elder right in the face. Metadonna stumbles back, clutching his cheek, completely shook and in pain. Furious, Lauren demands to know what he is even doing here. The elder, hurting, stammers, "I am literally an elder, though." Ellison awkwardly scratches his head and steps in before things get worse, admitting he invited Metadonna. Lauren whips around, totally thrown off, and demands to know why on earth he would ever call the elder over. Still trying to salvage his dignity, Metadonna looks between them, asking what the actual hell is going on. That's when Ellison's vibe shifts. The playful banter is gone. He gets dead serious, explaining the massive awakening Metadonna sensed and how it links directly to the ancient marble. Even discussing this dangerous threat, Ellison plays host and offers a drink. Metadonna takes a sip, and his face instantly drops. He clocks the whiskey's deep flavor, rich, premium, aged like 60 or 70 years. Ellison smirks, totally pleased his guest nailed it. Curious, Lauren reaches for the bottle, but Ellison slaps her hand away, warning her this is not mid-beer, and one sip would literally delete her.
Lauren whines that he never lets her drink anything stronger than basic brews. Watching this chaos, Metadonna chuckles, commenting that these two make for an unusual duo. He even jokes that Ellison forgets he is literally dealing with dragons. Ellison just shrugs it off, like, does it even matter? Then, things get dead serious. Metadonna brings up the rules established after the last war, openly admitting Ellison made the right call with Nye. Lauren, though she is still totally salty, instantly backs him up, saying she would have handled it herself anyway. Ellison goes quiet, realizing he almost got flatlined. Metadonna drops the lore on these ancient marbles, exposing how broken they are. 1 grants dominion over dragons, 2 controls purebloods, and 3, that literally lets you rule all dragonkind. Here's the kicker. If Ellison were a dragon, absorbing all 3 would have made him the ultimate dragon lord. Sensing the dread, Ellison asks, wait, what actually happens if a 4th marble suddenly drops after someone has already absorbed those 3? Metadonna says any extra gems should just vanish. This gives Ellison major intrusive thoughts. Is someone trying to revive the Dragon King? These gem drops are too sus. Metadonna panics as Ellison cooks, linking the coordinated dragon raids on the mine and Dwarf Town to the gems. The math is definitely mathing. It is too planned. Realizing the stakes are high, Metadonna agrees to check out the exact spot where Ellison found the last one. He low-key suggests using Ellison as bait, but Lauren instantly shuts him down, telling him to stop being so extra. Even Metadonna is amused by her sheer audacity, but he lets it slide and preps for the investigation. Next morning, Elena is out in the woods restocking herbs, vibing and muttering that this haul should last. Suddenly, Serena sneaks up right behind her, jump-scaring her so hard she almost drops her basket. Serena immediately teases her for being so easily rattled, casually dropping that she's staying around longer. Elena, totally lost, reminds her that her own lair is already fixed. Serena brushes it off, saying that place is way too huge and she's just not built for quiet recovery. She playfully calls Elena heartless for trying to kick her out so fast, making her blush. Then, Serena pivots, asking Elena to teach her mana transfer so she can help out with healing in return. Elena instantly blushes, fumbling her words and awkwardly bringing up vegan food to dodge the drama. Someone standing at the door quietly catches their weird vibe. Meanwhile, Gerda is frantically running through the woods when a mocking voice stops him dead. A calm, total boss-level woman effortlessly corners him. Out of breath, he listens as she lists his massive L's, failing to infiltrate the human village and getting absolutely clowned by the black dragons. Gallardo panics, blabbing that catching Ellison fixes everything since he absorbed 3 ancient marbles. She hesitates, then totally scoffs at the idea. A sharp wind slices his neck, instantly cutting his desperate begging short. No point keeping you alive anyway, she mutters coldly. Meanwhile, back at the restaurant, Ellison and Lauren wrap up the hectic morning rush, and Lauren asks if they should even bother staying open for the day. Since things are totally chill right now, before Ellison can even reply, Nellen bursts in, super hyped, showing off a strange stone. Ellison inspects it, highly intrigued. Lauren, letting intrusive thoughts win, actually licks the rock, instantly gagging from the aggressive saltiness. Ellison recognizes it as rock salt, which suddenly triggers a major core memory. He says these stones carried him through boot camp, laughing at Lauren's face as he flashes back. Day 1 in this new isekai was pure terror. Drafted instantly, they couldn't even pronounce his real name, rebranding him Ellison. He was homesick, scared, and totally out of his depth. But honestly, the worst part wasn't the brutal grind. It was the food. Staring at that daily tasteless sludge in the mess hall, he was like, how is everyone actually eating this NPC food without losing it? 2 weeks of pure torture passed. His main hyperfixation? Salt. Just a pinch would save this trash food. He wasn't the only one down bad, surely. Even the instructors were low-key complaining, yet they downed it like NPCs, which was mad frustrating. 2 more weeks in, the grind got easier, but the food remained a sleep paralysis demon. Ellison realized before he could cook up his dream restaurant, he had to survive this camp first. Then came the ultimate game changer. During class, Instructor Vane, a level 5 mage with a goofy curled mustache and major main character syndrome, announced they would finally learn offensive magic. He hyped it up like a massive privilege for low-rank recruits. Vane introduced them to mana, flexing a glowing green sphere and explaining that all magic relies on circles and attributes. To show off, he casually blasted a training dummy with a fireball. Next, he ordered the newbies to try. Their attempts were straight up tragic, tiny sparks fizzling out before the target. Furious, Vane flamed them, roasting their skill issue and lack of discipline, while low-key crying that the war forced the army to scrape the bottom of the barrel. Then, out of nowhere, a house-sized fireball nuked the field, vaporizing the dummy and shattering the cliff. Everyone froze. Every instructor froze. Ellison stood there, low-key shook as all eyes locked onto him. A pale, rattled Vane grabbed his shoulders, demanding to know what he just did. Ellison, serving pure innocence, said he just gathered mana and threw the fireball as told. When Vane pressed, Ellison casually dropped that he could literally see the mana floating around. That was the moment Vane broke into a cold sweat. He realized Ellison possessed a cheat code level sensitivity, literally seeing mana itself. Later, Vane discussed this with head instructor Tharn, admitting Ellison's talent was absolutely cracked. But the talk triggered his deep insecurity. Vane had grinded endlessly for magic, while Ellison just spawned with god-tier hacks. Tharn suggested benching Ellison from the front lines for some advanced magic training. Eavesdropping outside, Ellison low-key smirked. Dodging the war zone was the first real W he'd heard since isekaiing into this crazy world. But then, the door flew open. Vane caught him lacking, threw him a major side-eye and told him not to get cocky. His punishment? Since his massive fireball absolutely wrecked the training field, Ellison had to touch grass and rebuild the whole thing himself. Clearing rubble that night, Ellison spotted glowing orange stones. Curious, he tasted one and absolutely lost his mind. Salt. A total game changer. This epic discovery lit up his brain instantly. By the very next morning, he was already low-key sneaking this new secret ingredient into all the camp meals. The upgrade was instant. One bite in, and the soldiers acted like they were finally freed from a curse. Ellison felt low-key proud. Even those who only ate to survive knew this food hit different. So he locked in. Night after night, he grinded in that kitchen, battling trash ingredients and dim lights that would have made anyone else quit. None of that stopped him. He kept grinding, cooking, and leveling up, obsessed with meeting his own high standards. Some nights, he was literally crying over the pot, but kept stirring anyway. Then, while finally eating, an instructor spawned out of nowhere, ordering him to report afterward. That made Ellison instantly freeze. Stepping into Theron's office, the heavy silence was literally suffocating. Theron sized him up, stroking his chin before admitting the obvious. Ellison's magic was built different. Ellison, still in his feels, just nodded. Theron said that cheat code talent makes a soldier totally OP on the battlefield, which sounded hype for a second. Then the vibe shifted. Theron brought up a rumor.
Turns out someone was sneaking into the kitchen late at night, ghosting before the chefs clocked in at 5. He added the culprit was hard to catch, but they would get wrecked if caught. Ellison froze. Seeing this, Tharn softened, smiled, and said he actually called him in to praise his magic glow-up. Then he handed him a scroll, telling him to trash it. He casually dropped that it was his own personal intel report, telling Ellison he could use it. Handing over the scroll, Theron leaned in, repeating that leaving the kitchen before 5 a.m. meant zero chance of getting caught. That's when it finally clicked. Theron knew the entire time. Later, sitting alone by the forest campfire, Ellison unrolled the scroll and just lost it. Darren totally knew everything, but instead of throwing shade, he low-key handed him the ultimate cheat codes. The scroll detailed edible mushrooms and spices, low-key proof the commander approved their secret midnight cooking sessions, without ever saying it. Ellison used this intel, and slowly, the northern camp's food got a major glow-up. Those depressing, bland meals started to actually slap. Soon, the camp was known for having the absolute best eats in the whole military. Even after Ellison left, his recipes stayed behind, passed down until the camp's legendary food status became completely permanent. Back in the present, Ellison whips up that same old camp meal. Nostalgic for the Saltstone lore, Lauren peers in, asking if this struggle meal really kept him alive in Camp 5. Ellison nods. It's the exact survival food they clung to. Eating it, the crew admits it doesn't hit like his current cooking. But honestly, it doesn't matter. Nostalgia hits different, bringing back the trauma, the chaos, and that weird trauma bonding we survived together. Meanwhile, Serena is face-planted on a table starving when 2 kids show up looking for Alina. Since she's MIA, they beg Serena to heal their little brother instead. Serena's like, no way, a scraped knee is not a real emergency.
But they keep nagging, so she finally gives in, casting a basic heal while acting totally annoyed. Classic tsundere energy, for real. Later, Alina meets the kids, who thank her for Serena's kindness. Confused, Alina confronts Serena, who instantly denies being soft and complains about being left to starve. Alina explains she was at the Lord's castle treating a patient with a weird brain rot poison. Every cure failed. The Lord is still comatose. Hearing this, Serena low-key remembers a researcher who might know about this, but she can't recall their name or where to find them.
Then a carrier bird drops a letter from Elena's home. Instantly, her face hits the floor. A dragon is threatening to delete the elf forest unless Elena becomes its bride. This news absolutely wrecks her. Sobbing, she protests that marriage should be about love, not extortion and fear. Serena laughs off the dragon's threat as pure cap, but Elena is still low-key stressing. Always flexing her confidence, Serena promises to have her back. Meanwhile, back in the elf village, Elder Narya hears that the letter was delivered. An elf doubts if Elena will actually pull up after learning the stakes. Narya knows she will, because Elena is just built different. Elena's back, but Serena's not sure that actually fixes anything. When Elena briefs Ellison and Lauren, they hesitate, so Serena instantly drags them for overthinking, demanding they prep for literally everything. As they debate, the endless doubt gives Serena the major ick. Still, she agrees to pull up to the elf forest. Ellison playfully teases Elena. Guess we gotta go vet this supposed husband candidate. So the squad gears up to face the dragon. Deep in the woods, a massive beast is roaring, absolutely terrorizing the area. Ellison's crew stops at the edge. The vibe ahead is pure dread, especially since fast travel is totally disabled. Ellison complains about the clock, while Serena suggests flying to skip the grind. But Elena explains that the elf forest's magic barrier completely blocks all teleportation hacks. So yeah, none of that works. Before they can even process, a sharp voice cuts in. Lilia, an elf, draws her bow. Freeze or get iced. Suddenly, a whole squad surrounds them. They're fully geared and high-key stressed. Lilia demands answers. Sensing the sketchy vibe, Alina steps up, drops her name, and vouches for them. Still, Lilia isn't buying it yet. She turns to Ellison to verify his stats. What's your build, and what is your goal? Ellison grimaces but keeps it real. He's human, here to help Alina. Lilia spots a weird flash in his eyes, low-key giving off rare mind-reading vibes only elves have. As she turns to grill Serena, Ellison casually interrupts, plugging his highly rated Greek city diner like a salesman, even inviting them over. Lilia is instantly triggered and snaps at him for speaking out of turn. But just as she demands Serena's answer, another elf rushes up and whispers urgent tea into her ear. Lilia instantly switches up. She orders her squad to stand down and apologizes, explaining that Elder Narya cleared them to enter. Walking in, Lauren complains those gatekeeping elves were doing way too much, but Ellison reassures her that they're still on track. Narya welcomes them warmly, apologizing for the massive mix-up. She knows they had a super long journey and thanks Elena for pulling up. Narya sees Elena stressing and hypes up her bravery for making such a tough call. Shaking, Elena asks if she means the marriage proposal. Serena straight up laughs at the idea of a dragon wanting Elena as a bride, totally dissing him. Narya is shook by Serena's audacity, warning her that Mantium is literally an almighty god. But Serena and Lauren casually drop their own dragon cards, flexing that they're here to take Mantium down. This leaves Narya completely speechless. Once things finally calm down, Narya spills the tea. Mantium, a dragon who has been collecting tribute from the elves forever, is suddenly acting way too extra. Now he is demanding an elf bride, period. The elves sent mad candidates before, but he swiped left on everyone. Desperate, they turn to Elena, praying she has that main character energy to actually survive. Elena quietly sighs, expecting a total reject. Hearing this, Lauren gets protective, ready to throw hands if anyone hurts her. But Serena suddenly drops a massive truth bomb. Mantium is infamous for researching different species' brains. This means he might actually hold the key to curing Lord Gates. Game changer. The entire vibe shifts instantly. We are not just chasing this dragon away anymore. We are capturing him. Before they can cook up a plan, an elf warns them Mantium is already pulling up. Narya drops a major reality check. He's low-key paranoid. If he senses another dragon, he dips. If threatened, he ghosts his lair. To trap him, they can't just run up on him. First, they need stealth, a distraction, and immaculate timing. The plan cooks, and all eyes land on Alina. Classic. She's stuck carrying this mess again. She complains, rightfully, that she always gets the worst job. But after some peer pressure and zero mercy, she folds. Soon, Mantium arrives, stomping through the forest. He's absolutely fuming, making his ugly face look even worse. Trees shake as he prepares to burn everything down. Before the fire hits, Narya steps up, offering Elena as the promised bride. Dressed to absolute perfection, Elena pulls up. Instant hit. Aaron's rage completely vanishes, replaced by pure hype. Meanwhile, the squad watches from a safe distance, waiting for their moment. Elena walks by the dragon, stressed out, wondering why the squad is lagging. Aaron, totally down bad, starts chatting her up. He asks her name, blushes like crazy, and demands she call him master. Next thing she knows, he hands her a maid outfit to wear. Elena is literally crying inside but holds it together, praying her friends will clutch up soon. Now, rocking the cringe fit, she nervously smooths the skirt, trying her best to keep up the act. He told her to stay back, but she low-key followed him into the lair anyway to help. The place is giving total disaster. Trying to play the perfect waifu, she offers to clean up, gently asking him to step aside for a bit. That instantly triggers him. He snaps, dead set on gatekeeping this room forever. His sudden aggro completely spooks her. She frantically apologizes, realizing she crossed a major boundary. But instead of letting it go, he snaps. Don't apologize, demanding she repeat herself. This bossy main character energy makes everything so much more awkward. Lurking nearby, Lauren, Serena, and Ellison are totally losing it. Their giggles slip out, and the second Alina spots them, she absolutely loses her mind on the spot. She snaps at them for giggling instead of helping, completely blowing their cover. Mantium locks onto the trio, dripping with pure malice, demanding who they are to trespass. They try to back off, but it's too late. Flexing their dragon power, they glow so hard it's clear these three are definitely not just random NPCs. Spooked, Mantium tries to teleport, but his laggy spell fails. Before he can even try to recast, Lauren and Serena bind him with glowing chains, slamming him down. He roars, but Elena's already raging at her squad for not prepping better escape traps. Lauren admits the L, instantly throwing Ellison under the bus. Ellison awkwardly claims they honestly just wanted to watch the dragon's reaction for the plot. Serena rolls her eyes, calling them both totally unserious and messy. Then, the vibe shifts. A cursed green orb wrapped in dark energy spawns in the sky, pulsing pure bad vibes. It detonates with a roar, spreading toxic gas. In the elf woods, the effect is instant. The elves freeze mid-stance, weapons drawn like AFK puppets. Narya fights the brainwash, but she draws her own blade, aiming it at herself. The whole forest is on the brink of a total wipeout. Meanwhile, Mantium is flexing his perfected 100-year-old mind control gas, laughing like a total psycho. Holding the helpless elves hostage, he demands that Elena marry him. Elena is straight up panicking, totally disgusted, trapped in this living nightmare. Her squad says don't fold, but she is totally cornered. Right as she is about to cave, Ellison pulls up with a golden magic flex. He shields the woods, completely breaking the brainwash. Huge sigh of relief as the elves stand down, back to normal. Narya drops, thanking him for the clutch save, while Elena clings to her in relief. Mantium is coping and seething. He can't process his broken spell and completely loses his mind. Ellison, Lauren, and Serena decide he's out of chances, binding him tighter to stop his main character antics. That night, the elves throw an absolute banger to celebrate their freedom. Music echoes, people vibe, and the heavy dread of the day finally starts to fade away. Elena is still visibly shook, but Narya's warm hug helps her cope. Meanwhile, Lauren and Serena are absolutely roasting Darren for being a total coward earlier. Mid-laugh, Lauren finds Elena's secret sauce. One splash on the boring veggies, and the whole meal goes god tier. Serena immediately complains that Lauren was gatekeeping this absolute masterpiece, making everyone crack up for real. While they vibe, Ellison low-key slips away, searching for something or someone. He heads to Hero Benna's statue, flashing back to his army days when he was a 7th Circle Archmage and Ben was still alive. Ben was whining about eating grass again, demanding real meat. Ellison clapped back. "You can't even digest meat, bro, so why the obsession?" Ben countered, "If you're actually some legendary chef god, make it digestible then." Tired of their endless yap, Darren told Ben that a warrior elf should fight, not cry over food. Ellison snapped, telling them both to shut up and focus. Suddenly, Darren spots trouble far off. Trolls are raiding a refugee camp. Instantly, it's pure chaos. Tents get trashed, people scream, and panic goes viral. A troll grabs a crying kid begging for mercy. But seeing Ellison's squad, the refugees hype them up as war heroes, shouting they're saved. Even Ben, mad his food got interrupted, locks in to fight. Cut to now. Ellison sits quietly before his meal, staring down, wondering if the person he promised has found peace. Neria steps up. He asks if anyone is still salty. She gently recalls 2 years ago when he brought Ben home. You kept his promise, she says. Absolutely no one is holding a grudge. She thanks him for saving the elves today, but Ellison deflects, giving Ben all the clout. It was Ben's carry. Standing by the statue, the squad gets their deserved flowers as the grateful elves hype them up for saving their lives. Nearby, a captured Iran Mantium is still whining, demanding to know their destination. Serena claps back, telling him he'll find out soon. Meanwhile, Lauren teases Ellison about his late-night yap session with Naria. Ellison asks if she heard everything. Lauren's like, duh, casually adding that he actually ate the Lord's heart. Overhearing this, Serena and Alina immediately jump in, agreeing that Ellison's strength is honestly built different. The squad finally pulls up to Dion's castle. Dion welcomes Ellison with pure hype, but Lady Berna is totally shook. Recognizing him from the Dedran incident, she tears up, remembering how he clutched up for her and her son. Suddenly, Lauren drags Aaron Mantium in, demanding he heal Dion's dad. The dragon hesitates, but honestly, he has zero other options left now. Examining the count, he spots deadly brain poison and purges it with magic. Once cured, Dion's dad wakes up, calling for his wife. Berna and Dion instantly hug him, totally overwhelmed with relief. Watching this wholesome family reunion, Ellison low-key misses his own mom. Lauren notices that he is not asking for any reward at all and asks him why. Ellison passes on the cash. The vibe is just too immaculate to ruin with money talk, so they head back to the restaurant. That night, while prepping for tomorrow, Ellison clocks something wild. Thanks to the ancient marble, summoning barely drains his battery anymore. But when he checks more closely, he senses a sketchy, ominous energy gathering right around him. Before he can even process, that weird energy grabs him. Boom! Ellison gets yeeted back in time, waking up in his own past. He wanders the ghost town streets totally out of it. No one else is awake. Out of habit, his brain is already cooking up recipes. Then he spots her. A girl, standing over some dude she just absolutely flattened. Ellison is just straight up buffering. He calls out to Lauren, but she turns with a cold, unfamiliar stare. Who even are you? She demands. Total stranger vibes. He freezes, brain lagging, as his vision starts glitching out. Why is she wearing a school uniform? Before he can even process a single thing, she screams the question again, demanding his identity. And then the dread finally hits him. This street, this air, it is his old world before everything changed. Suddenly, a truck charges straight at him. Lauren's voice snaps him back, screaming to move. She is totally lost too, asking, wait, what just happened? Where are we? Reality hits hard. No cap, he's actually back in his original world. A random woman rushes over, asking if they're doing good and suggesting they call 119. Lauren is completely clueless, but Ellison quickly shuts it down, telling her they're totally fine. Then they immediately bolt, leaving the woman staring at Ellison's weird fit. Later, Lauren is absolutely shook to learn that this whole crazy place is actually Ellison's hometown. Walking together, she's totally weirded out by everything. The cars, the skyscrapers, all of it. Ellison, low-key overwhelmed, cracks a tiny smile, admitting it's been ages. Honestly, the city looks even better now. Lauren's like, if this is your hood, you should know the way. She asks where to next, but he's still processing the massive time jump. Recalling that phone, he figures both worlds run on the same timeline. That means over 15 years have passed. Buildings changed, but the streets should be low-key the same. Masking his panic, he tells Lauren he is lost.
She instantly calls his bluff since he literally just claimed this was his hometown.
Ellison, thinking of his mom, tries to reassure her. He claims he knows the way and that money is a non-issue, flexing a gold coin like it solves everything. Meanwhile, back in Greek City, morning is already giving. Lint drops a bright good morning, while Mint is shocked they arrived so early. Opening the barn, Miltine complains it's freezing, admitting they'd be cooked if the dwarves hadn't rebuilt it. Linty spots the dark restaurant, figuring they won't open early today.
Mint is shook because Ellison never sleeps in. Meanwhile, Lauren spots his new drip. It is totally local. Ellison admits his old fit was way too extra here. Still, he is low-key salty about the cash. He really thought that gold coin would secure him a massive bag.
Lowballed at 4 million won, Ellison realizes showing an ID gets him the full cash bag. Lauren's clueless. Wait, what's an ID?
Confused by Ellison's lack of ID, the vendor offers a compromise. Ellison takes half the coin's value just to stop the interrogation. Lauren then asks if he's hungry. Ellison suggests finding a good spot, and spotting a Chinese place, his face instantly lights up. He tells Lauren that jjajangmyeon is that one comfort food that always hits different.
Lauren gets hyped, asking what they're eating. Ellison eagerly agrees to start. After one bite, Lauren's like, "This slaps! You gotta eat too!" But Ellison peeps the menu and gets a total reality check. The prices are actually wild. Back in his day, jjajangmyeon was literally only 4,000 won. Lauren teases Ellison, calling him a boomer dragon for being totally clueless about prices. He claps back, saying it's about the food experience, not saving cash. He orders jjajangbon next, ignoring her warnings about over-ordering. One bite of the spicy noodles has her literally breathing fire. Loving the chaotic energy, Ellison playfully tells her to grab a cold drink and cool down. These two are out here tasting everything, totally vibing with the chaos. Meanwhile, Serena is losing her mind back at the restaurant. She is fuming over where Ellison's crew ghosted to. Their day off ended yesterday. Customers are literally starving, and a hangry Alina is also totally done with this. Noel asks if Mint has any clue where they went, since they never ghost without a word. Mint shakes his head, totally clueless. Meanwhile, two salty customers walk away. One grumbles about a wasted trip, while the other doubts if this place is even worth the hype. Mint realizes this is a major L. If people keep dipping, their rep is cooked. Miltine nervously asks if something bad happened to Ellison's crew. Mint doubts it. Even the Baron bows to them, so it is hard to imagine anyone actually messing with them.
Linty suggests they just run the restaurant themselves until Ellison returns. Since they know his exact flavor profile and have the ingredients, they can cook. Mint and Miltine are totally shook but down to try. Meanwhile, on a train, Ellison and Lauren sit together. Ellison finally admits he is stuffed and cannot eat another bite. Lauren, stuffed from trying literally everything, is totally vibing. Ellison smiles, glad she loved the food. Pointing at a massive iron carriage outside, Lauren asks what it is. Ellison explains that it is a train. Since their destination is way too far, they must ride this. Teleporting here would low-key cause absolute and total chaos. Lauren low-key asks if they're meeting his mom. Ellison is shook, but she totally saw through his hype. She praises his hometown's gorgeous vibes. Blushing, Ellison suddenly drops a massive bomb. "What if I asked you to stay here forever?" Lauren just stares at him, completely caught off guard, her brain buffering as she struggles to find the right words. Ellison keeps going, saying he's been thinking about this since they arrived. Since the ancient marble is gone and the Dragon Lord threat is zero, he asks if she'd start a new life here. He quickly adds, "No rush, take your time." Then Lauren drops the real question. If she says no, will he return with her? She's not staying behind alone. That question hits different, dragging Ellison back to a memory in the elf forest, where he was practicing summoning magic. Half asleep, Ben asked what he was doing. Ellison claimed he had finally done it, reaching for the portal to go home. His squad tackled him. Ben screamed to hold him back from this reckless BS. Darren warned it'd snap shut, asking if he wanted to lose a finger. Ellison fought back, shoving a scroll through the portal before it snapped shut, muttering, "I get it now." Ben went ballistic, yelling that even Ellison's OP magic couldn't fix this mess. Now Ellison was completely drained, left without any magic for weeks. Exhausted, he looked at Darren and sighed. Are you really going back to the mines after this war? Darren went silent. Ben was heading back to his elf fiancée, but Ellison, holding back tears, asked the ultimate question he could never answer. Where do I go when this is over? Like, where do I even belong? Back in the present, Lauren quietly admits she never actually ghosted him. Ellison processes this, suggesting they hit up his place first. Lauren agrees to pull up to his old lair. Meanwhile, word spreads in Greek City. The restaurant is back open. Inside, Linty's already prepping meat while Creston asks if it's enough. Hyped, Linty says it's perfect and they just need to grill. Where does the firewood go? Miltine shook, thinking everything here ran on magic. Creston watches Elena flex her fire magic, but Linty instantly shuts it down, calling it too weak. Elena's low-key coping, claiming she only learned fire magic for camping. Serena tells everyone to move, flexes her own flames, and says, "Let me cook." Literally. Linty, clueless as ever, is just glad the crisis is averted. Milteam smiles, prep is done, so they can officially open the shop. But the second the food starts dropping, everything goes absolutely downhill so fast. A miner eyes his plate, complaining it looks straight up like charcoal. Bruh, I stare at rocks all day. Why serve me more? Mate immediately panics, promising a remake. The miner glares. Is this coal because I'm a miner? Be for real. Meanwhile, Creston is frantically throwing a salad together, pausing to think, should I add one more ingredient? Miltine asks what he's even putting in there. But before he can answer, the customer takes a bite, instantly spits it out, and screams, "This is way too salty!" That is stressing, asking Creston if he used salt. Creston is just like, my bad, thought it was sugar. The customer instantly spits it out, demanding a refund. Linty is totally losing his mind, convinced they are going bankrupt before Ellison even gets back. First, he must kill the fire, or they are totally cooked. One look at Serena, and it's clear she's not turning down the heat. How is anyone supposed to cook with this wildfire? Panicking, he douses the flames, spots a pot, hoping for a clutch save. Meanwhile, back in reality, Lauren asks Ellison if they're lost. He's chill, saying no. New buildings are everywhere, but some vibes never change. He claims that even after 30 years, he'd never get lost in his hometown. With a faint smile, he drops the line he's replayed 1,000 times. I'm home. At the door, Lauren senses his tension. Nervous? Ellison panics over how to even introduce her. Lauren bluntly says, just tell them the truth. I'm a dragon. Ellison's like, for real? Will his mom even recognize him after 15 years? Same hair, but his whole vibe is changed. Shaking, he calls out. Dead silence. Lauren's like, too quiet, kinda sus. He tries again. Suddenly, the neighbor's door creaks open. A woman steps out, apologetic, asking, "Who are you guys?" She says she's never seen them, asking if they're new. Ellison quickly explains he's looking for the woman who lived in 604. The neighbor's face instantly shifts. Are you Mrs. Jonghwa's son? Hearing that, hope hits different. He immediately locks it in, asking if she knows where his mom is. But her face drops. She quietly mutters that Mrs. Jonghwa does not live here anymore, then motions them to follow. Walking, she explains she moved in 5 years ago. His mom was always on that hustle grind, surviving on instant ramen but still made time to cook for her. They became super close. She remembers how his mom constantly flexed about her son, saying he would be around her age by now. She's yapping about some indie blog, but Ellison's completely zoned out. Entering the dark woods, he panics. Where are we going? She mutters that Mrs. Jonghwa never posted missing flyers, coping hard that he'd just walk back home. Then they stop in front of a grave. Her question absolutely wrecks him. Why only now? Why couldn't you have just spawned back here 2 years ago? Ellison is completely shook. She reveals his mom battled stomach cancer for years. Even post-surgery, she loved cooking for others just to see them happy. But 3 years ago, the cancer relapsed, sparking endless hospital stays. This is definitely not the wholesome reunion Ellison had ever envisioned. Memories of happier days with his mom hit him all at once, clashing hard with this grim reality. This goodbye is just not it.
The neighbor mutters she does not care why he is finally back. It is too late. She is gone. But Mrs. Zhonghua left something behind for him. She hands him an old envelope. Devastated, Ellison grabs the letter. Lauren instantly spots a major red flag. The paper is from the Ruburn Empire. The letter begs his mom not to doubt this wild story. It is all legit. He didn't ghost them. He got isekai'd to another world. Using glitchy magic, he sent this letter. He is safe, became a powerful mage, and is now opening a new restaurant.
He says he could send letters but never get replies, so he just gave up. But at the bottom, Ellison spots a reply. His mom wrote, "My boy's a mage now. Invite me when your restaurant opens." That single line absolutely wrecks him, and he starts crying ugly tears. He hates himself instantly. Once he unlocked summoning magic, he could have sent so many more letters.
Lauren hugs him, trying to comfort him, but Ellison is drowning in regret, wishing he did more. Meanwhile, back in Greek City, the restaurant is absolutely packed the next day. Customers are hyping up the food. Linty flexes how his special pan saved the burnt meat. Serena claims her fire magic carried, while Elena insists she helped too. Mint finally breathes easy since everything is working out for now. Only issue? Ellison is still totally MIA. Meanwhile, Lauren tells Ellison to eat, clearly stressed over his state. But Ellison just hangs his head, quietly apologizing for lying to her. He says she doesn't have to stay, and he'll send her back solo if she really wants. Lauren is shook. Grabbing his arm, she asks if he truly believes nothing is left for him here. She reminds him of his train question about making this world their home. I never meant to leave you behind. We can stay. But real talk, what about everyone waiting back in the Empire? That hits different. Meanwhile, back at Great Castle, Baron Leiden asks why Ellison skipped the restaurant.
The guards say someone else is holding down the fort. Leiden wants to pay Ellison his respects and heads out. Meanwhile, Lauren's lair is still under construction. Lord Geltzar hypes everyone up, promising Ellison won't ghost them. Back in reality, Lauren tells Ellison that humans, dwarves, elves, and even dragons are waiting. They're all waiting.
She reminds him those 15 years weren't wasted. That hits different. Remembering the letter, he asks if his mom actually believed him. Lauren's like, duh, moms always trust their kids. Grabbing his hand, she says it's time to go home. 2 days later, the neighbor who delivered the letter is feeling bad, wondering if she low-key went too harsh on him. Suddenly, Ellison spawns right there, flexing a massive bag of gold. He says it's for keeping his mom's grave clean. She opens it, completely shook. Before she can even process this insane flex, Ellison says he's got to run his restaurant and just teleports away.
She's left remembering hospital chats with Mrs. Zhonghua about a restaurant she wanted to try. Back then, she thought it was total cap. Now, she finally gets it. Ellison really is a legit mage. Before ghosting this world for good, Ellison leaves a sweet photo of him and Lauren, plus some white flowers, right on his mom's grave. Heading back to Greek City, Ellison realizes they've been gone forever, wandering way too far from the restaurant. Lauren starts prepping a teleport spell, but Ellison stops her. "Hold up," he says, flexing hard as he summons a massive portal of his own. Now that is a major power move. Lauren is totally shook, asking how he pulled that off. Ellison's like, just basic dimensional magic, honestly. Stepping through, she suddenly begs him for levitation lessons. He reminds her she once said her own wings made levitation totally useless. She snaps back, but literally every other dragon flexes it anyway. Crossing back, Ellison panics about ghosting his customers and leaving his ranch hands totally shook. Lauren dryly doubts anyone is visiting the diner anytime soon. But she freezes. The place is absolutely packed, and there is a literal statue of Ellison outside. Cringing hard, Ellison asks if they just accidentally stumbled into the wrong universe. Lauren, equally confused, asks what is even happening. Drawing closer, they hear Lint hyping the crowd, asking who saved Count Leiden Greek. He flexes with pure pride, shouting that their boss, Mr. Ellison, did. A bystander calls him cracked, while an emotional woman tells her man she cannot believe this legend cooked for them. Raising a dish, Lint claims this food literally cured the Count. He asks who wants to test the HP buff, and the crowd goes wild. But mid-hype, Ellison walks in. Lint instantly freezes up, totally shook. Ellison immediately demands to know what the actual deal is with the statue. Count Lydon steps up, calmly owning the statue idea. He apologizes, explaining that Ellison and Lauren's sudden vanishing act that night triggered major panic. Lint adds they just wanted to keep customers entertained, but it somehow snowballed into this whole mess. While eating, Lydon hypes up Ellison's absolutely cracked staff. Taking a bite of Lint's cooking, Ellison secretly admits it actually slaps. The boiled pork slaps so hard he wonders why he never cooked it himself. Lauren hypes up how tender it is, making Ellison low-key think Lint belongs in the kitchen, not the ranch. Ellison takes the L, promising no one's getting scolded. But pointing at the statue, he's like, what is that even supposed to be? Simping over it, Lydon proudly claims it honors Ellison's achievements, promising the Count's castle will keep it pristine. Ellison awkwardly goes, that's not the issue. What achievements are we even talking about? Lydon drops some lore from the Dragon War about a rogue soldier who ignored orders to save people, becoming the GOAT Mage, but the worst soldier. The name of this absolute legend? Ellison. Ellison is completely shook. Lydon adds that Greek City was one of the places he saved. Caught off guard, Ellison admits he never expected Lydon to connect those dots. But Lydon insists Ellison saved the city, his family, and him too. Ellison respects the wholesome vibe, but it does not change his final decision today. Next second, he blasts the statue with magic, straight up refusing to let his shop be judged by its vibe. Panicking, Lydon admits the statue was extra and promises to squash the rumors about Ellison's food being some cheat code medicine. Meanwhile, at school, two girls chatting bump into the royal mage, Madrina. Books scatter and they panic apologize, but Madrina casually telekineses the books, tells them it's chill, wishes them luck with exams, and warns them to stay safe with magic. A girl shyly thanks her, totally hyped by her fast casting, but overhearing them brush off rumors of her past kidnapping and bondage leaves Madrina visibly wrecked. Back in her room, she senses a presence and instantly freezes, terrified that Lauren tracked her down again. Instead, she opens the door to find Prince Leon. Completely shook, she begs him not to drag her around, blabbing about the rumors, leaving him totally lost. Leon calmly clarifies he is not spreading rumors, then pivots to Dedrin's territory. With crime spiking and every official sent there ending up dead, they need a heavy hitter to clean up this mess, secretly, under a fake name. Meanwhile, Ellison is back on his grind at the restaurant. A happy customer hypes up finally getting a truly decent meal. In the kitchen, a smiling Ellison calls out that the Yuba rice bowl is ready, telling Lauren to run it. But once Serena sees her plate, she is totally pressed, asking, where is the meat? Lauren casually chews, claiming this is literally how you eat it. Serena calls Cap instantly, asking who she thinks she's fooling. Lauren claps back, telling her to just eat her food. Lady Berna is there too, hyping the place up after one bite. She asks if Dion really gatekeeps this spot alone, and Ellison answers that he's basically a certified regular now. Berna awkwardly admits she low-key hated the restaurant's new statue. Ellison says she does not need to apologize every single visit since the Lord cleared the air. She then asks about today's sweet treats. Just then, two incognito newcomers walk in, asking for the menu. It's Madrina, ordering 2 portions of their hyped special dish. Ellison sighs, tells them to wait, and says he's on it. Soon he serves up 2 plates of Yuba fried rice. The guy takes a bite and admits it hits different. Madrina agrees. It's a total bop. Ellison asks if he's shocked, since he doesn't seem easily impressed. He freezes. Ellison clocked the disguise instantly. He knows it's Leon. Shook, Madrina mutters that Ellison's vision is just built different. Ellison scoffs. How is this supposed to be a perfect disguise, bro? Leon shrugs. Well, the lady sitting right there didn't suspect a thing. Ellison asks why they pulled up in disguise. Leon says, first, the food here slaps. Second, he whips out a vial, asking if Ellison recognizes it. Ellison inspects it, totally clueless. Leon drops the truth bomb. It is a brain-melting poison. The same stuff that left Count Lydon bedridden for years. That answer has Ellison shook. Leon explains the poison is low-key spreading through Dedrin. The Count waking up was a total fluke. Others won't get that lucky. Worse, it leaves 0 trace, meaning absolutely no receipts. Before he can say any more, 2 thieves crash the restaurant, yelling at everyone to freeze and hand over all the cash and food. Berna instantly panics. A thief snarls, "Shut up and comply if you want to live." Lauren and Serena stop bickering to give them a deadly side-eye, while Madrina flexes just enough aura to make them realize they walked into the wrong nightmare. Outside, one thief is groaning on the pavement. Madrina coolly notes they are from Dedran City. She's literally sitting on one while grinding the other into the dirt, warning them to behave. Cooked, the thieves beg for mercy, crying, "Forgive us, Chief Mage!" The compliment boosts her mood. With a wicked smirk, she flexes her Chief Mage title, asking if they actually realize they just messed with the wrong boss. Inside, Ellison clutches the vial. So the real play is making me investigate Dedran City and track down the poison plug? Leon sighs. Count Dedran spilled 0 tea under interrogation. Plus, every single general sent there got clapped, leaving the city in absolute shambles. While Madrina trolls the thieves outside, Leon adds, "The exact same shadow cabal is running this whole operation. They're spreading like rot." Ellison frowns. Why would the Crown Prince trust a simple restaurant owner with a high-stakes mission like this? Leon claps back, reminding him how Dedran got absolutely wrecked by some super insane magic recently. With a knowing smirk, he asks if Ellison feels even low-key responsible for all that chaotic aftermath. Ellison awkwardly asks him who exactly spilled the tea. Leon immediately shuts it down, claiming his lips are sealed. Ellison dryly mutters that the only person who could have told him is the Empire's 7th-rank mage. Hearing that, Madrina loses all color and panics, rushing toward Leon. Leon just shrugs, letting Ellison handle the mess. "Just ask if you need backup," he says. He's locked in on his own master plan now, telling Madrina to meet up with him later. That night, Dedran's outskirts are pure chaos, just like the rumor said. The whole place is totally cooked, looted, and absolutely dripping with fear. Ellison's like, "We're cooked. This is worse than I thought." Lauren asks why they're even here. To hunt the ops who poisoned the Count, obviously. Is that why this whole city is rotting? Probably, but Ellison's low-key stressing because all the generals got poisoned too. Now, he is plotting their next move. If he goes too hard and wipes them out, the big bosses will ghost. But he can't just ask around for the Brain Poison Guild. He tells Lauren his wild plan, warning her she'll hate it. Lauren just smiles. "You worry too much. I'm down for whatever. Just spill the tea now." Later, Lauren's locked up, so that was the plot. A guard warns her to back off the bars. Some NPC mutters, "Yo, a girl?" A jacked inmate asks if it's someone's birthday. The rest start circling her with major bad vibes, asking if she knows what happened to the last girl here. They want to teach her a lesson. Lauren's low-key disgusted this trash jail doesn't even separate genders. She's ready to spawn dragon claws and wreck the place, but holds back, remembering Ellison's order to endure. Then, Dedran's Chamberlain Ricardo pulls up, casually asking about the brand new useful tool they just brought in. A goon points at Lauren, explaining she got busted for throwing hands in the street. Ricardo sizes her up, noting that the feisty ones always fetch a higher price. Later, inside the castle, Ricardo meets a count who apologizes for lagging. It is actually Ellison undercover, introducing himself as Count Reval, the new boss running Dedran City now. Ricardo quickly apologizes, asking if he really came straight from the palace. Ellison smoothly greets him. Trying to recover, Ricardo explains he was handling prisoners, adding that the castle vibes have been totally unhinged lately. Everyone is confused, hoping the new Count understands. But Count Rival cuts in, saying he already got the tea on this whole situation. He peeps the document's seal. Yep, it's the legit Imperial stamp. Ellison casually asks if Ricardo thought it was Cap. Ricardo denies it fast, but says it arrived way too early. He adds that, weirdly, the last 3 officials sent here literally died, so he figured no noble would willingly pull up to Dedran. Guess he was wrong. Ellison instantly catches the shade, sarcastically asking if Ricardo is suggesting he'll be the next one to get wrecked. Ricardo laughs nervously, capping hard that he would never be that disrespectful. Ellison smirks at the word, rips the royal document in half, and says this is what real disrespect looks like. Shook, Ricardo panics, demanding to know how anyone could dare tear up the king's letter. Count Rival just shrugs. The plot was mid anyway, not even entertaining. He claims even if the Crown Prince wrote it, he could recite it blindfolded. Boost security, protect citizens, purge Dedran of corruption, just the usual boring NPC chores.
Kicking his feet up on the desk, he says none of that sparks joy. He just wants to make ruling this city actually fun. He notes Ricardo is probably tired of watching new officials constantly rage quit or drop dead. So why not team up where their vibes finally align? Especially with those wild rumors Ellison heard. Ricardo is totally shook by this sudden vibe shift. Meanwhile, back in lockup, a guard pulls up to Lauren's cell, ordering her out. Like, she just got transferred here, so where are they dragging her now? The guard just says she doesn't need to know.
Lauren stays quiet, but honestly, if Ellison hadn't begged her to play nice, everyone here would be straight up dead. She locks in on her main mission. Ellison said these local bosses definitely know who's sourcing the poison. A prisoner jeers, "You'll miss this trash cell soon, girl. Where you're going makes this place look like actual heaven. If I were you, I'd bite my tongue and end it now." Lauren just stares in silence, while the angry guard barks at them to shut up. Watching her leave, Ricardo plots his next move. Count Rival hits way different compared to the usual Imperial clowns sent down to Didrin. He cannot just spawn kill every noble forever, but a Count? That is high-tier loot, making the risk worth it. Time to test if Rival is actually built different, or just capping because he is low-key terrified of dying before morning. Ricardo knows a poison gig is never a solo job. There's definitely a shady underworld syndicate pulling the strings behind the scenes. Meanwhile, Ellison is clutching the vial, playing the corrupt noble card, but low-key stressing he overplayed his hand. Is he acting too sus when he actually has zero clues? If he flashes the poison now, Ricardo will just play dumb. Honestly, letting the enemy cook is his only real play. Suddenly, a knock on the door interrupts his thoughts. "Excuse me, may I come in for a sec?" Ellison lets her in. A maid brings tea, claiming the head butler sent her. Ellison says to leave it, but she insists on watching him drink to prove his trust. She acts apologetic, but it is low-key sus. Suddenly, the pieces connect. Math is mathing. They're seriously testing him this openly? Serving sus tea to prove his trust is wild. If Ellison pulls rank as Count, Ricardo will just cap again. If it's poisoned, Ellison can drop the act and use it as leverage. If not, he keeps playing Count Rival. So he chugs the whole thing. Whatever happens next, he is ready to face it all. He pauses, hyping the tea as absolute fire. The maid smirks. Knew you'd love it. Staring at his empty cup, Ellison realizes there's no poison. He passed the vibe check. As she leaves, she drops one last thing. She opens the door, and in walks a slave. The maid explains it is a trust test reward, a token of sincerity. Ellison is shook. He expected poison, traps, or threats, not this. Gifting a human like a luxury flex? Unhinged. The maid cheerfully tells him to enjoy. Ellison senses a major glitch. The girl is giving pure NPC energy, totally zoned out. He asks if she can even hear him, but she suddenly blitzes him, slamming him straight to the floor. Meanwhile, on Dedrin's outskirts, two bound thieves are desperately trying to explain themselves to a low-key terrifying boss, surrounded by some very sketchy goons. According to them, they broke in, but a girl spawned, beat them up, and roasted their goofy faces. One swears she's OP, another says she's literally not human. Their boss coldly asks, did they forget the memo? Keep it low-key, especially after that mess with officials. If you must fight, at least don't get caught. Is that really too hard? Finally, he's like, this ain't it, and tells Veretto to drag them to the cultivation room. The robbers instantly lose it, begging for one last chance and swearing they'll stay low-key from now on. He just side-eyes them, saying the fact they're alive is already their final warning. Meet Master Raiden, the guy running Dedrin's shadiest underground business, including human trafficking. Then, Veretto casually drops that Ricardo is asking for another slave. Raiden sighs. Ricardo is doing way too much. Dedrin needs to low-key back off before the palace gets triggered. He really doesn't want to delete Ricardo next. Wait, wasn't Ricardo sending a prisoner today? Veretto confirms she got bagged for assault. Now, the crew is seriously doubting if this tiny girl is really the one who actually wrecked their guys. They say she's waiting in the selection room. Meanwhile, Lauren's stuck in a slave lineup while some guy in glasses sorts them with scary efficiency. 3 for cultivation, 2 for nobles, 5 for the black market.
Next up, Lauren quietly realizes that even if human customs are weird, slavery is literally illegal in the entire empire. Yet this massive trafficking ring is operating right under everyone's nose. Seriously, make it make sense. She cannot prove they are behind the poison yet, but this whole mess is way too massive. Ellison needs an urgent heads up. She portals directly to his room coordinates, warning him that things are totally cooked. But what she sees next completely breaks her brain. Ellison is standing there with a girl tied up in his room. Ellison panics, instantly capping, it is not what it looks like. Lauren, totally lost and fuming, snaps back. Then what is it? Right then, the controlled slave begs her master for orders, making Ellison look incredibly sus. He desperately tries to explain it is just a massive misunderstanding. But Lauren's powerful dragon aura is already leaking out. She demands real answers, and she is absolutely not playing around. Ellison points at the girl, arguing that is the whole point. She is totally glitching, and he definitely did not summon her here. Still fuming, Lauren orders him to raid the cultivation room right now. We will settle this later, so watch your back, she warns. Someone spots her acting low-key sus and asks what she is doing. She instantly caps, "Nothing, my cuffs broke, get another pair." Dude's totally baffled how the cuffs shattered, but Lauren flatly blames some cheap hardware. Meanwhile, Leon's trusted goon asks if they should interrogate the target directly. Leon shuts it down instantly. "Don't poke the bear, that thing isn't even human. We still don't know its real endgame, and one wrong move completely ruins our whole operation. Clean up this mess. I'm going to meet this creature myself now." Next morning, Ricardo pulls up to Count Rival, politely asking if his peace offering hit the spot. Ellison's like, yeah, it passed the vibe check. It felt like a low-key test, which annoyed him, but he's letting it slide. Deep down, he's still salty about last night's goofy misunderstanding. Ricardo apologizes for the tea drama, warning that shaking hands too fast here gets pretty dangerous. Ellison brushes it off, capping that he already forgot about it. Nearby, the slave girl lies totally out cold on the bed. Ellison tells Ricardo he's keeping her for a bit. Ricardo's like, "That's your call, bro." But Ellison senses something is off. He's seen slaves before, but she's built different. Her vibe is totally abnormal. Ricardo openly owns it, flexing their product's main selling point: absolute obedience through total brainwashing. No running, no resisting, total obedience. Hearing this almost makes Ellison crash out. For a hot second, he seriously wants to delete this entire slave market right here. But he forces himself to lock in, remembering how Dedrin Castle's early downfall completely ruined everything. Instead, he asks Ricardo about scaling up. Why not use Ellison's fake noble status to sell these premium products directly to the Empire's top elites, securing massive influence and dominating the entire high-end market now? Ricardo laughs, calling their partnership a total W. Then Ellison casually asks if the slaves are locked in the cultivation room. That completely rattles Ricardo, who immediately demands to know how he found out. Ellison shrugs, saying rumors brought him to Dedrin. Since elite clients are naturally paranoid, vetting the entire supply chain is just basic due diligence before pitching them. If showing him is too much trouble, Ricardo can always decline, but that will definitely cap how far their market reach can actually expand. Ricardo claps back instantly. Since they're partners now, there's zero reason to gatekeep the truth. Honestly, it's way closer than Ellison thinks. Meanwhile, Leon knocks on a door, telling the woman inside that a major problem just dropped that even he can't solo. She's totally shook, noting it's wild for something to stay unsolved when the Imperial Palace is literally involved. Leon explains there's a weird glitch among the slaves. Lauren's sus energy gives major dragon vibes, just like hers. The red dragon, Sydney, narrows her eyes. Are the black dragons actually lurking around now? Reports of them digging into things lately are definitely spiking. Sydney remembers the new overseer, a young guy named Count Revolk. Leon confirms the dragon hiding among the slaves is a small girl with black hair. Sydney instantly knows it is Lauren and orders the cultivation rooms cleared immediately. Deep underground, Ricardo flexes the entire operation to Ellison, calling it Dedrin's absolute pride. He explains they grow wild herbs and mushrooms to brew drugs, brainwashing people into totally obedient servants. Staring at the glowing magic lights, Ellison is low-key shook, wondering how they built this massive, complex lab right under the mansion without anyone in the Empire ever finding out. The workers look totally wrecked.
exhausted and half dead from farming those toxic plants. Ricardo casually hints they should not linger. Ellison then asks, very low-key, if these ingredients could make a clean, traceless poison. Ricardo dodges the question, asking if Ellison is down to see their other products too, since he was just about to show him anyway.
Right then, Leon pulls up, scouting the area on Sydney's direct orders. Seeing this absolute mess in person, he instantly loses it. He cannot believe Ricardo leaked everything to a brand new overseer. Ricardo starts coping and apologizing, but Leon cuts him off, telling Ellison that working together means cleaning up this entire disaster. Ellison's reply confirms the gig is up. Leon's dark suspicions were actually totally right all along.
Meanwhile, locked up, Lauren hears noise outside. Sounds like a total shutdown. Definitely Ellison's doing. Suddenly, Sydney pulls up, calling a captured dragon slave a major flex. Eyeballing Lauren, she smirks. Never expected to run into another dragon in a dump like this. Lauren, totally unfazed but suspicious, just asks, "And who exactly are you supposed to be?" Sydney drops a massive bomb. She knows Lauren and her mom. That hits different. Shook, Lauren demands answers, but Sydney just smirks, saying, "Oh, honey, I have all the receipts." She vividly recalls her mom's final moments, asking if Lauren wants the tea. That triggers her. Lauren completely loses it, attacking with everything, swearing to tear Sydney apart and silence her. Sydney just smirks, whispering she already tested that mouth. It works perfectly. She keeps baiting her, bringing up her mom, until Lauren snaps, desperate to shut her up. Bystanders instantly lose it, screaming "dragon" and scattering. Sydney, loving the drama, shifts into a massive red dragon. She mocks Lauren, saying she's too wild to ever play the slave. She sneers that instead of throwing this tantrum, Lauren should have just kept playing house with her pet human. To Sydney, it's all the same, just a pesky bug buzzing in a diner that someone eventually has to squash. Why couldn't Lauren just lay low? Meanwhile, the cultivation room suddenly bursts into flames, sending workers into a total panic. Leon shrugs it off, ordering an evacuation, while Ellison secures the evidence before it burns. Leon clocks Ellison as no ordinary bureaucrat, but a secret mage, which totally explains his weird energy. Ellison quickly claps back, calling out Leon's own highly suspicious combat skills. With that overpowered swordplay and barrier flex, you are really one to talk. Spotting Leon's slick footwork, Ellison instantly recognizes the First Knight's signature style. Are you Loki from the Imperial Palace? Leon just smirks, finding Ellison incredibly fascinating, but also way too dangerous to be left roaming around completely unchecked. Now, things are getting tense. Leon lunges, but Ellison casually blocks. Read the mana flow, bro. Binding magic is literally so mid once you get it. Honestly, even a basic chicken could easily dodge that. Leon counters. Yeah, but massive AoE fire attacks are totally different. You need a serious spark. Ellison smirks. Well, I'm built different. Besides, wide-range enchantment magic always gets nerfed the further it spreads. Leon agrees. Focusing all that power into one point is key. Ellison is like, sure, in theory, but do you actually know how to take down a mage? Leon eyes the barrier, checking if it is still holding, but Ellison does not let him breathe, launching a massive counter. Yet Leon bounces back scary fast. Ellison is shook by his insane durability. Seeing Leon's drip ruined and his cover blown, he presses for his real ID. Back at Ellison's, Dariant pulls up as ordered, warning their cover is already cooked. Seeing the prince casually eating lunch with Berna and Madrina has Dariant completely shook. Leon just shrugs. Getting doxxed was bound to happen anyway. He reassures Berna that he's not here to arrest her, openly admitting she wasn't behind the Count's crimes. Berna sighs in massive relief, feeling totally grateful that the royal prince is letting her off the hook like that. Dariant wonders how the diner even runs without Ellison. As Berna dips, Leon reveals some low-key genius is holding down the kitchen. Then he pivots back to Deidrin. Since his castle got wrecked, the Count has been ghosting everyone because the shock broke him. Next, Leon drops a question so unhinged it shakes both Madrina and Dariant. If Ellison fought you both, who wins? Dariant is utterly horrified, but Leon still insists on an answer. Dariant keeps it real. Even teamed up, they are catching an L. Ellison is built different, straight up monster status. Only one guy ever compared, his old infantry boss, Commander Adrian Pierce. He was the absolute GOAT who literally rewrote the First Knight's swordplay. Serving under a cheat code like that is why Dariant capped out at Vice Commander.
When Leon demands someone who is actually still breathing, Darian shrugs. Adrian vanished during the war while defending the Imperial Palace. He's completely ghosted, and nobody knows his current status.
Back in the brawl, Leon demands his name. Hearing Ellison, he instantly calls him a deserter. Ellison claps back, saying he'll interrogate him in prison. Leon shrugs it off. He still has a master to serve, so they'll run it back later. Before dipping, he wrecks the ceiling, forcing Ellison to choose, chase him or save the innocent slaves and all evidence.
Before vanishing, Leon regrets not having an Ellison back in his day. Meanwhile, Lauren and Sydney are absolutely wrecking the prison. Sydney keeps talking mad trash, but Lauren just wants answers about her mom. Then Sydney drops a major truth bomb. Lauren's mom actually created the ancient marble, got locked up for it, and was left to rot with zero backup ever.
She warns some tea cannot stay buried. Now Lauren is totally crashing out, swearing she will literally delete everyone if this secret ever gets leaked.